Alright, alright, I'm here now. I'm real. I am indeed real. I'm 100% real. I'm real. But, welcome everyone. Uh, uh, holy shit. Counter Frosthill is real. I am real, it's true. God, I played TF2, got a lucky drop paid for Sunbreak. What did you get? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in TF2 when I used to play it was I got a. I don't remember how. I did that thing where you trade things for other thing. And I don't remember exactly what it was. I traded one thing for another thing, which led to another thing, which led to me getting a shitty game, and I used that shitty game to trade for an Assassin's Creed item that was in TF2, some type of like hidden dagger thingy. And apparently we're getting some frame drops. So my internet might be fucking up. Probably is, probably is. The internet do like to fuck up when I'm streaming. But basically, I traded that thing for the Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade item in TF2, and then I used it for a long time, and then I stopped playing TF2 because a shit ton of stuff happened. And then some guy contacted me and was like, "Hey, you haven't played TF2 in a while." I assume he, I don't know how he fucking knew that. I was like, do you want to trade your stuff to me? And I was like, all right, I'll trade it to you for a copy of Fallout New Vegas. And he was like, okay, give it to me now, and I'll give you Fallout New Vegas. I didn't care about the item because I wasn't playing TF2, so I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And in my head, I was like, if he scams me, he scams me. And he comes back like a few weeks later and gives me Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't get scammed. It's pretty awesome. I'm not cute. That is a lie. If I was cute, um, if I was cute, I would have $1 million because I would walk up to people and I would say, "Ooh, woo, I'm cute and I have no money from food. Will you buy food for me?" And they'd be like, "Oh, here you go, cute little person." And then they'd give me $1 to go get like a chip from McDonald's, and I'd kick them in the shins and steal their wallet and dump their body in an alley somewhere and sell the clothes on their back and then walk away laughing. It's true, I would do that. It's real. It's it's why I'm not allowed in Brooklyn anymore. I don't have a midriff. What are you talking about? I don't have a midriff. What are you talking about? Okay, well, where's the midriff? I do not see it. It's not real. It's fake. It's fake. It's not real. Yeah, Regan was there. Frame skips. There's a bunch of. I'm having real internet problems, but we're just gonna fucking ignore them as a little gag. And somebody feels for free feels great. I I don't want to say I got Sunbreak for free, because that's not true. I did not get Sunbreak for free. That is 100% a fabrication. But uh, so I had a funky little moment. I get every time I don't know if you guys can see this, but I keep accidentally clicking stuff on stream, and it causes. There we go. So I had a funky little Twitter interaction where people were being Twitter was being Twitter, and I got offended by something because it's something that really affects me. And yeah, the one about I did how you got Sunbreak for free because a TF2 item you got really lucky, got a rare drop and then sold it. I was talking about this recently, but it must have been during the ad pre-roll. It's pretty buggers. It's kind of weird how in a game like TF2 you can just get real fucking lucky opening a crate and like TF Go. I'm an idiot. I had the same thing, but I had one thought of like two things that are related, and I combined the thought together. So TF2 and CS:GO became TF Go, and I was talking to Regan recently, and I don't remember how, but I said something. I said Joe Rogan, and I was thinking about Logan Paul. So my brain combined them into like Rogan. What was it? Rogan Paul, and I was like, yep, the third Paul brother. Mobile Team Fortress. It's Mike. Mike, shout yourself out. And Regan, shout out yourself and then shout out Ninja from Fortnite. Yeah, Rogan Paul. I'd play a portable Team Fortress. I think it would be fun. I think it would be real goofy. A real nice fun time. You know what I really need background music. For like just chatting streams. So I did commission some background. So I had a funky little time commissioning background music. I commissioned some ages ago. Back like in May or June of last year, I commissioned some background music from a friend of mine who was like, oh, they did art and apparently they did background music, and I was like, hey, are you able to get it done before August? And they were like, oh, easily, I can easily get it done like in 2 months, and then they didn't, and I was like, hey, when's it gonna be done? It's like, oh, I'm working on it and shit, and I was like, cool. August. It got real late. It got to like October or something, and I was like, hey, do you have anything to show me? And it's like, nope. And I realized that this person wasn't my friend. They were trying to scare me. And why are you shouting me out? Why are you shouting me out? This is my stream. Why are you shouting me out and then Ninja? Don't shout out. You know, I'm shouting out Mike and I'm shouting out Regan. Shout out Strike MVT. Oh yuck! Can I undo a shout out? I don't realize we were playing League of Legends still. Don't follow Mike. Mike plays League of Legends. Shout out Mage Knight Regan. Regan was just chatting. Yeah. So I ended up getting a refund and stuff. And then I think I used that money to get something more important. But yeah, I do need to commission back. So my current goal is I'm saving up for Regan's PNG, because I'm going to get Regan a PNG and Regan's going to give me maps in exchange. Speaking of maps, Regan did the map that I'm going to show you guys soon. I'm going to get a bunch of maps from Regan and exchange it for Regan's PNG, which is exciting. And then I'm going to save it for my Live 2D upgrade, and then hopefully some background music. So I want some custom background music. I think it would be real cool. But like, so finding good artists isn't too hard. It's not super duper difficult. It's still annoying because you have to shift through all the GFX accounts. Finding someone that can make good VTuber music is really difficult. Because you either have like music students. Okay, it sounds so rude. You either have music students who think they're hot shit, and like it's not the type of style, the type of thing that I'm going for. Or you have like industry level, and industry level is good. It's real good, but with industry level talent, you have industry level cost, which is perfectly understandable, and that's annoying. And then you have the third type that you run into, which is, yes, I can do music. I am music Michael. I'm music Michael. I can make music. What music did you make? I made this music, and then they fucking play the theme from Halloween, and you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't you. And it's like, well, yes, it was. You have that person. Then you have the fourth kind, which is the rarest kind, where you find someone who actually, like, they're down to earth, so you can speak to them. The prices are pretty good. It's not like $50,000. It's not $50,000 plus commercial use, because that's excessive, in my opinion. And they understand what you want. Exactly. Music is hard because you don't have references. I mean, I have a folder of like the kind of vibe I'm going for with my music. I want something like upbeat but mysterious and quirky. I want something that fits my personality. I want something like energetic and mysterious and upbeat and quirky. So this might come as a huge surprise to you. This might shock everyone here. Everyone's going to have a huge revelation. But I'm a massive shrimp for a VTuber called Fruit, who is a Lich VTuber. She's awesome. And I want a theme that's similar to her theme because her theme is real cool, and it's the same type of like style that I really want to go for. Just use a Kevin McLeod track. I want something custom. I want something unique. I want something that I can play and be like, yep, that's mine. I own this. I want to have something cool like that. Because I have a lot of VTuber friends that have their own custom tracks, and I want to get one too. I think it'll be fun. But I'm getting super off track. Back to my original story before I split off into 3 other stories, which happens very often. I was on Twitter. Someone posted something offensive. I got offended by it, and some fucking dude, some fucking dude was just like, "Oh, fuck you! You should be offended by it." It's funny that this horrible, tragic thing happened to you, and I was just like, "Wow, Twitter sucks." And then some nice dude just sent me the nicest message and was like, "Oh, by the way, I sent you like $80," and I was like, "What?" And I offered to refund them, but they wouldn't let me. They were like, "No, no, no, you can have it," and it felt terrible. And I used it to get Sunbreak because I I wanted to put it towards stream. Twitter does suck. Twitter definitely sucks. All that shitty stuff happening on Twitter. Let's see if the screen change will work. So on that screen, I'm going to have that, and on this screen, I'm going to have the actual map. So therefore, because it looks real tiny on my screen, I bet it looks tiny on your screen too, but at least with my screen, I can kind of zoom in. I can't really zoom in on this very easily. It's quite difficult. Twitter's a crap show. It's either doing posting or drama. No one uses it for anything else. I try to use it to promote streams, to kind of do cool stuff. But it usually is a bunch of that stuff. Stretch? I can stretch. But wide map? I could. Or I could be an asshole and do... Wait. I think if I go over here... Ignore that. Ignore everything that I do that I don't want you to see. If you see something that you aren't meant to see, just ignore it. Or a wizard did it. One of those two. It's stretched out. You're a fucking nuts. You know what? I was gonna do something cool. You know what? Stream's cancelled. Fuck you, Regan. I'm joking. It's a bit. It's a goofy little bit. I'm joking. Shit, I pressed the wrong button. That was a bit. I'm joking. I love the word nonce. It's a good word. I fucking love it. I'm trying to make it so I'm not like. I didn't think this out very well. Maybe if I just gonna block my entire face. What? Okay. What about now? Now can you read it? Now can you? What if I do this? What if I block the entirety? I didn't think this out very well. I was gonna do it this way, and I thought it would be real cool. I thought it would be real cool to do it this way. All right, let me try a different way. Let me try this way. Maybe this way will be better for you individuals. Wait, oh my god, it's huge. Alright. Well, since we're looking at Pelin Island, I don't have a zoom. There's no zoom option here, Regan. Regan, there's no zoom option. Alright, you know what? We're doing it this way. This is how we're gonna find everything. We're gonna find everything this way. It's way too zoomed. Alright. That's what I was about to say, yeah. Let's find it. Fuck. You know what's a smart idea? What's a real smart idea? You know what's a real smart idea? If I do this. See, this is a smart cow. You can't see chat though. But, you know. Sacrifices will have to be made. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. We put chat up here. It's not extremely clear, but it's still visible. There we go. I kind of looks a bit better. So let me just zoom out 1,000,000%. Alright. So this is a major continent in my world, because my world currently has Evergarden, Calumet, Yor, Tywin, Vesti, Adammer, 5, technically 6, depending on what year it is. Stop zooming out. Fuck you, Regan. I do what I want. Boogie Woogie. Who started this? Who started this? You're banned for real. You're banned for real. Ban him. Ban him for real. Alright. So, this is Calumet, which is a major region in my setting. But the world's called Leven, by the way. Which is, a funny story. No, Mike's here. I know Mike's here. I can smell Mike. The reason it's called Leven is because I used to really struggle with saying 11 when I was a young little lad. When I was a small little boy, when I started writing this world. I don't know why I said that. I didn't say 11, I just said 11. And that's where it originated from. But yeah, this is Calumet, which is a huge continent. It's massive. It's probably one of the biggest, because they fucking took over a shit ton of this shit. So, yeah, it's located south of Taiwan's Gaze, and east of Murmur. That's Taiwan up there. I'll get to it eventually. But I need to get my notes up. I need to get my funky little notes up. It represents hell? What do you mean it represents hell? It represents hell, yeah? Okay, there we go. That makes more sense than it representing hell. It definitely doesn't represent hell. If you want to know where hell is, it's actually yes it is. It's right here. This is hell. It's right there. All of Cantor. I will actually tell that story when I get up to it. I'm glad you noticed that. Yeah, Saskatchewan. I'll tell that story. I'll tell that story. I'll get my notes up first. I'll get my huge long note. Where is it? Prehistoric Leven. I have like I keep all of my notes on Discord. I need to move it over from Discord to something actually useful. Alright, here we go. So, we'll start on the Starfell. So Starfell is kind of like the essential... It's the main region. It's like the good place. So there's a bunch of noble houses. So there's Drakenrust, which is the capital of all of fucking Calumet. Where's Drakenrust? Here it is. So this... Oh wait, you can't see that. I bring out my finger. I have to bring out my pointer finger. Alright, so Drakenrust is here. And this is the capital. It's where House Calumet is. House Calumet's symbol is a dragon. And there's a lot of funky little stuff I've written about them. I wonder, should I show the minis off? It's not, it's because it's a cool lighthouse there and such. Oh no, yeah, exactly. It's because it's an epic lighthouse. Again, I'll get to all of this. I'm going to discuss at least all of Calumet today, at the very least. Oh my god, where is it? Sorry, I need to organize this way better. Take a shot every time. If you're of legal drinking age, take a shot every time I say, where is it? Here it is. So Calumet is where the royal family of Calumet, that they named the... Okay, I should go back a bit. So their country is named after their goddess, which is this huge dragon, which they believe that in the beginning there was just their goddess, and she breathed life into a space rock, and that became the entire world of Leven. No, it became the world. And they believe that after that happened, their goddess got tired and rested for a real long time in a humanoid form, and eventually had a bunch of demigod children. I'm intentionally skipping details. And those demigod stuff and things happened, and a lot of them were hunted, either because they went kind of crazy with power, or they were done with living and decided to just stop existing, or a lot of them were hunted for, a lot of the weaker ones were hunted for their scales. And their goddess died, and they believe that their goddess will be reborn one day. Get into that real soon. But the Starfell Heartlands is because I forgot what it's called. I'm an idiot. I'm a little insano. Yep, here we go. So, the Starfell Heartlands is the heart of Calumet. It is a region, is home to vast swaths of grassland. Regan helped me write this, as you can tell. During the winter, meteors rain from the sky, and there's a festival which is called Starstruck. It's kind of like Valentine's Day, but fucking cool. So there's a lot of, it's meteor showers, and there's declarations of love, and it's all cool and shit. Yeah, fucking Valentine's Day is Chad in the Starfell Heartland. It's like, let me confess my undying love to you while the very fucking heavens fucking light up. It's awesome. It's so cool. It's the coolest idea I've ever had, I think. And I really, really want to have that campaign. Regan, ban yourself. Ban yourself from chat. Get yourself out of here, Regan. Economics. I'm still working on the economics. I did have this massive fucking bank. Oh wait, no, I did speak about it. The Bank of Mer. Well, we'll get to that after Calumet, because the Bank of Mer kind of connects to all the economics of it. But yeah, sorry, I keep going like one tangent to another tangent. I've been busy. I've answered some of them. A lot of them I can't think of answers to. But anyway, the royal family, which I'm real proud of, because Regan and I brainstormed this together, and it's real fun. It was probably the biggest fun I've ever had. Population, massive, like probably in the million, maybe. I haven't decided. I'll get the minis up. I'll just create a new thing I'll call minis. Regan made all these minis, by the way, because Regan is awesome. Oh my god, this is fucking huge. Let me just make him a bit fucking shorter. My god, you're huge. Let me make him smaller. The settings where stuff isn't relevant. I know what you mean. Oh wait, you mean in terms of the questions in general? Yeah, I thought you meant in terms of the royal family, and I was like, I'm only reading what's written down. So this is King Bendrick the Eighth, who's the current ruler. King Bendrick the Eighth Drendigan Calumet, because it's a combination of his mother's name and his father's name. That's how the royal family succession goes, if they're a big name house. Which they will be, because if it's not a big name house, why the fuck would the royal family even speak to them? So this guy's a fucking I don't even know if I want to say Chad. He's kind of a Chad. He's a kind of. I need to actually adjust a lot of this. So his reign began when basically he was the he was the second-born son, and his father's firstborn was going to inherit the title, but there were all these rumors going around about his older brother, which is brain not working. Let me go to the timeline. Which brother was this? This was Raedric, I believe. Yes, this was Raedric. His older brother Raedric was going to inherit the throne, and he went up to his father, which was King Henrik II, and was like, "Oi, father, I think my brother will make a shitty king. I think he's weak. I think he sucks. I demand, to fight him in combat for the right to be your heir." And fucking King Henrik was just like, sure. Alright, sure. Like, fucking go for it, my guy. And the combat started, and the two warriors fought each other very valiantly. And Henrik was winning. Henrik's a pretty good fighter. And then Bendrick, again, Raedric was a good fighter. Bendrick, like, just fucking went full like, fucking fury, like, bloodshed. And it is written that Raedric said, "When I looked in the eyes of my brother, I did not see the eyes of my king. I saw the eyes of the dragon, of my king." And he surrendered, because he knew fucking Bendrick would have absolutely killed him. Either he would have died, or his brother would have died, and he was just like, I'm done. Like that determined to win, he can just fucking have it. So Raedric ended up becoming Bendrick's commander of his Kingsguard, kind of stepping down more of like a protector side. I did not see the eyes of my king. I saw the... No, shut up, Regan. I said you read it wrong. I said kin. I said kin. K-I-N. K-I-N, Regan. Shut up. I will... Regan. If I put the vagrant in a meat grinder, right? Like if all right. Okay, let's say hypothetically. You are walking through Kalrim, right? You're in Cantor with the party, right? Okay, Regan? And then all of a sudden, you are hit with poison darts. And you wake up. And you are hanging up... You're in some kind of factory. Some kind of weird factory with all these SCP creatures. And you are dangling above a meat grinder. Right? That is slowly turning. And I made you make a dex roll so you could swing... So you could get free, and you failed it, and you fell into the meat grinder. How many seconds would pass until you run out of HP? What the fuck was that? What even was that? But yeah, that's how he became king, which I think is a pretty Chad reasoning. I was speaking about this to Regan recently, and they thought it was pretty cool. Well, you thought it was pretty cool, and I thought it was pretty cool. So he ended up ruling, and approximately, I believe, 3 years before the start of the campaign. Oh wait, no, it was 20 years ago. Was the start of it. Which was which started the War of Dragon and Blossom, which was a long 3-year war, which started because supposedly the continent of Yor, which is over here. Oh, hi Setsuki! Oh, shout out Setsuki Regan, for real. Shout out Setsuki. This isn't a bit. Do it for real. But yeah, he started a big war because Yor supposedly uncovered some holy relics, some Kalrim holy relics, and they were just like, yeah, we're not handing this shit over because this shit's real strong. And it was like, well, fuck you. And he declared war of them, and he took over a crap ton of islands. From memory, he took hold of Frosthill, a funky little land, and they attempted to invade Rainy, which is down here. But that failed terribly. That legitimately failed. Because currently, Rainy's separate from Yor. It's still part of the Empire, but none of the royals really go there. Because it's got a very strong, powerful crime family. Which are basically, they're like a combination of the Italian mafia and the Yakuza. They're called, brain's not working. I'll think of it. I don't remember. Chamberlain, I think it was the Chamberlain clan. Or it's just the main one. And essentially all of their fucking crime members, when Kalrim invaded, just actually, like, rallied, like, the people together as a fucking militia. And fucking, like drove them back, and the Emperor of Yor at the time was so fucking impressed that he was just like, all right, you know what? Listen, we'll be kind of lenient on you. Like, you're allowed to exist. So it's why they've been able to rise to power so easily, because the police aren't getting involved, really. It's a lot of corruption, but it's mainly just like, we have somewhat respect for you after what you did. But yeah, so that happened, but Caliban ultimately was winning, and Yo was kind of just like, alright, listen, alright, we will give you back one of the relics, which was called Nox Tia, which is this huge fucking sword, which is said to have been forged from the scales of one of the Calumet demigods, allegedly. But the Emperor was like, yeah, you're not getting the second thing, however, because, listen, we don't fucking trust you. We think you're tyrants and horrible, evil, terrible people who are going to conquer the world if you get this. So we're taking this to the elves in Evergarden, which is up here. It's can't really see it because it's not on this map. It's on the other one. But the elves are, like, notoriously neutral. They will not get involved in conflicts. Like, they're just like, hey, listen, if you want us to send you food, we'll send you food. If you want us to house your people, we'll house your people, but we ain't fucking fighting in your war or sending you weapons. So, whatever this second mysterious artifact is, I know what it is. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, because I'm putting it in a campaign, maybe, in the future. Yes, the elves kept it for themselves, because they're like, this shit's dangerous. Fucking you're not allowed to have it. And Calumet, you're not allowed to have it, so we're keeping it. And we're not telling anyone anything about it. But yeah, so to make up for that, because Calumet was like, it's kind of bullshit, because it is ours. Yor was like, listen, you can have an island, you can keep Frosthill. Which is where I'm from. I'm from Frosthill. That's why my last name's Frosthill, because I'm a bastard. My parents were married out of wedlock. So yeah, if you're married out of wedlock, you get the bastard name Frosthill, and it's not a swear word or a slur. It is a factually correct term in fantasy writing. Yeah, and the people of Frosthill at this point in time aren't very happy about that. Actually, in fact, as of this point in the campaign that I'm going to be running, there's actually been a revolution. The people of Frosthill are like, fuck Calumet Roll, they're pieces of shit, they're taking over our way of life. Other stuff is happening, which I'm not going to mention because I'm saving it for the campaign. So they've literally killed a lot of the officials there. Most of the forces have left. They've got a shit ton of weapons. I nearly spoiled the plot twist. I nearly ruined my whole campaign because I was about to go on from that, which I shouldn't do. I need to be careful with what I say because my players are here in this stream. I need to be very careful. But yeah, so they've kind of fought back, and for some weird reason, King Bendrick here is not sending the royal army or doing anything really, despite the fact that his country island got taken over. He's just kind of like, yeah. And so he's made a proclamation, which is basically like, any adventurers or lords that want to send people there can. You don't fucking have to. So a lot of the fucking lords just aren't. But a shit ton of adventurers are showing up. They're meeting up with a couple of people that have been sent by some of the lords, especially in Cantor, who want favor with the royal family. So they've been sending a couple of troops up there, and that's where the campaign will begin, eventually. It doesn't immediately start there, but it gets to there. So yeah, he's kind of a cool dude. He married Nefi Sarosh, which is the daughter of the Sultan Bassam Sarosh of Vesti, which is down here, near the Vestian Sea. Vesti is kind of like it's based on the Middle East. It's extremely Egyptian-based. Vesti is kind of cool. I'll show it. I'll talk more about it when I get to the full map. When I get to... Right now, we're just talking about Kalrim. I'm getting way ahead. I'm very excited. Vesti is probably one of my favorite places in all of Leven. I really like their religion. I think it's real cool. I like their way of life. The fucking... Their Sultan is such a Chad. He is such a... He's the exact opposite of King Bendrick. King Bendrick's kind of like, fucking, why should I send my people there? Why should I do this? Like this is shit. I don't like this. I'm taking over your land. Fucking, Sultan Bassam is willing to just sit down and have a talk. Like, you could be in the middle of a war with him, and be like, oh, I want to talk to you, and he'd be like, okay, what do you want to say? I will get my servants to bring food. I will throw a big celebration. We'll have a big feast. It's a fucking true dude. Arranged lovers match. He did. But there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason for that. He's a dude. He did arrange a loveless marriage. He's a Chad though. He's still a Chad. He's still a Chad, right? Gonna be perfectly honest. That arranged marriage, which is between Queen Nefi Sodosh, which I don't have a picture for, and King Bendrick, it was kind of a marriage semi out of fear. Somewhat. Like, Bassam's kind of like, listen, they're attacking Yor because they've found holy relics in their country. If we uncover something real dangerous here, I don't want, like, Calumet to immediately declare war on us. So I'm gonna, try to make an alliance. That, and also, he thought it was a good idea to get his daughter just, in a position of power. Because she's not his heir, and she was just like, I've got a daughter, I'm gonna marry her off to someone awesome, and she's like, I'm the king, I'm single, and it's like, oh, it's the king. It's kind of backwards. And Calumet and Vessi are not super duper progressive. Like, again, I'll get to that. I'll get to that when I talk about Francisca. But yeah, Queen Nephis was married to King Bedrick the VIII out of a political marriage, for trade routes and fear. She's a super doting and caring mother, and does her best to make up for the love that her husband lacks for her children. Because this dude ain't got time for kids. Ain't got fucking time. Ain't got time, ain't gonna make time. Just like my dad. What a terrible... Isn't it Father's Day today? It's Father's Day and we're talking about the worst dad I've ever created. That is amazing. It's hilarious. What a fucking coincidence. It is. It's real. It is real. Happy Father's Day, everyone. I guess. If you're not in Australia, it's Father's Day. But, yeah, she's, I don't have too much on her, because Queen Nefi's not a huge part of the story. She's important, but not super important. Okay, then we got one of my favorite characters. I say that about so many people. I say, this is my favorite character. I say, this is my favorite character. But for real, she's one of my favorites. This is Francisca Sodosh Calumet, firstborn of King Bendrick and Queen Nefis. So this is the two characters I was talking about, firstborn child. And it's a woman in Calumet culture. Calumet culture is really fucking... So they are fake woke, right? If the king were to come out and be like, listen, my subjects, I like men and I like women, they'd be like, woo, yeah, that's awesome, we love you. But if the king came out and said, my heir is a woman, they'd be like, what the fuck? What the fuck is... What the fuck? It's fake woke. Like, they'll pretend to like be like, yeah, equal rights, and then they'll be like, oh, but not for you. They're really shitty. They are super... I haven't even gotten into the real shitty stuff about Calumet yet. I'm not even up to that yet. But I'm trying to avoid turning Calumet into just like the kingdom where the villains are, because they're not... Each continent has something bad about them. Like, Evergarden is unwilling to help in any conflicts. They're eternally neutral. And they've also got some other stuff which isn't too great. Calumet is based on the fucking a shit ton of. They're based on America, Germany, and um, well, mainly Saskatchewan is based on Germany, America, Germany, Ireland, and England. You know, beautiful places that I really like that have strong medieval history, but they've got a lot of problems that like come with a lot of real world problems. Your has the opposite problem of Calumet. Like they're super accepting of both like actual legitimate gender equality, like the like men, women, non-binary. They don't care. Anyone can inherit stuff, but they're very traditional. Like these are our traditions. You will not break these traditions. If you do, you are dishonored. Which is super important to them. Like literally, it's like you've broken our traditions. You are no longer part of this family. Goodbye. Pretty intense. But anyway, I'm going off topic. Well, I'm not going off topic because this is all related. So this is Franziska Sadosh Calames, firstborn of King Bendrick the Eighth and Queen Neffys. Uh, and Regan and I wrote a funky little sentence. So Franziska does not hide her displeasure of Calamet's law surrounding female heirs and knights, because like knights can't be like women can't become knights. That's another big thing in Calamet, which sucks. She actively challenges these laws and stereotypes by raising women into positions of power and advocating for their rights. In order to do this, she's created her own private guard of exclusively female fighters, which she refers to as the Sirens, which are the literal Chads. The Sirens. So she's just like because she did a lot of traveling because King Bendrick, since she was his firstborn, he's like, well, I don't want to do this shit. You can fucking do it. She would send her off on diplomatic missions to like Yor and Vesti and Evergarden and all those places. And while there, she would like actively seek out like the best fighters, like the best female fighters, and be like, all right, do you want to join my awesome group? And they'd be like, fuck yeah, I want to change, I want to fight, I want to do fucking cool shit. And she's like, fuck yeah. So she basically created her own like queen, like she's not a queen, but basically her equivalent of a Kingsguard. It's fucking awesome. I'm gonna make the rest of the Robins. Please do. Yeah, they're called the Sirens, and they're fucking awesome. I want to make a logo for them, where it's like I can't quite decide what I want to, but I want it to be like a burning sail or something awesome. But more information about Francis, which is the best part. This is the best part. It's the part I loved writing. This was the coolest thing for me in the entire world. All right, so so while in your while in the your capital of Hertz, she mothered a bastard. She had the no pants dance with some random dude because girl boss, she can do whatever she wants. And she had a kid, and she was like, "Fuck it, this is my kid." And King Bentrick found out, and because she didn't try to hide it, she wasn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep it secret so my father doesn't know." She's like, "Ah, no, fuck you. I have a child, and it's out of wedlock. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?" And King Bentrick said, "I do not want this salty bastard in my presence." And he asked Sir Raedric, who is his brother, who was the first one. He was meant to be king, but Raedric kind of, again, I told that story. He backed off, and now he's Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. So he was like, Lord Raedric fucking slapped my insolent daughter. And as Sir Raedric began to approach Franziska, Lady Amira of the Sirens, which again, Lady Franziska's private army, fucking chopped off Raedric's hand. Just like right before he could like fucking even raise his fist, bang, clean off. Like the best fighter in Calumet, supposedly. The best fighter of the King's Guard fucking got surprised, had his hand severed, just real quick. Noom. And then Franziska said in response to her son being called a salty bastard, she said, "Then he shall wear that name with pride. Behold your grandson, Gabriel Salt, the bastard of Hertz," and fucking walked off. Absolute girl boss. Right. I wanted to make a female character that was just cool. Because, alright, again, I don't want to get political, but I'm sick of in writing when you have a female character that's just like, it's like, oh, she's cool, we promise. I have this mentality of show, don't tell. Like, kind of like show why they're cool. Don't just be like, she's cool because she's the best. Like actually have moments. Yeah, Queen. She's definitely a queen. Definitely a queen. She's awesome. I like strong female characters that are strong because they actually are. Like, alright. Samus from Metroid, actually a strong character. Leia from Star Wars, actually a strong character. I'm trying to think of a shitty example. Yen in the Witcher books, yes. Yen in the Witcher show, no. Actually, even in the TV show, no. She's okay. Witcher topic. I don't like how Yen becomes just like, oh, I love you, Geralt. Basically, it's just like, oh, I love you, Geralt. We're always together. Ho, ho, ho. It's like Catwoman. Catwoman in Batman. Not a strong female character, because they're just used as the femme fatale. They're not actually utilized in any way that's really cool. I'm hoping that the Batman changes that in the sequel, but we'll see. I just want to make a cool female character. But yeah, she's a funky little lady. And then we got another cool character who is the heir to the Kingdom of Kalrim. He's a cool little dude. You know what? We are going to have music. We are going to have music after all. What was the name again? McLeod. Something. I feel bad that I'm not having music playing. What was it again? Kevin McLeod. Kevin McLeod. Kevin McLeod. This is like royalty free, isn't it? Oh, whatever. I'll just delete it. But I want to have cool medieval music playing. Have the music I was playing before stream. Oh, that's intense though. It's real intense though. Adrian von Ziegler? Oh, that might be a good... Oh, yeah, I've heard his stuff. He's actually real cool. Adrian von Ziegler. Oh, 10 hours of Celtic music. Fuck yeah. Alright, this music by Adrian von Ziegler. This is his channel. Everyone go check them out. Is too loud? Is this a good volume? If this is too loud, let me know. I just don't want pure silence. I think it... Playing's good? Okay. I'll adjust it a little bit because it does have loud parts. It's probably better. Yeah, so this... Okay, I keep saying this is my favorite character. I love every character in 11 a lot. I love... I mean, I really love Franziska. She's... I think I just have too many favorites. Yeah, I got too many favorites, but probably Franziska. Anyway, this is Velk Sodosh Kalamet, the second born of King Bendrick and heir to the kingdom, which definitely pisses off Franziska. She's like, I'm fucking firstborn. I should fucking be the heir. I keep using the word fucking. I'm Australian. Please understand. It's part of my vocabulary. It's part of my culture. Like, I'm not angry. I'm trying to emphasize a point. Like, so many times when I go to other countries and I talk to people from other countries, this used to happen when I traveled a bunch. I would just talk and people would be like, there's no need to swear. And I'd be like, what? It's like, you swore. I was like, no, I didn't. And then I realized I am swearing, but I'm not using it in a swearing way, so my brain's just censoring it in my head. But yeah, this is Velk Sodosh Kalamet. He's the heir. Franziska doesn't like that because she believes that since she's firstborn, she should have the right to rule. But she is a woman, and Kalamet is sexist, so that's not allowed. For now. It's not allowed for now. I have not... The future of Levin is not written in stone entirely. But if Franziska did become queen, Calumet would change forever. It'd be very different. And I think she's not an awesome person. I have some stuff that I can't share, because I'm saving it for. I might use it for a campaign in the future. I got no clue, but I don't want to give away everything that I have about Franziska. But she would make a very good ruler, and she's a very interesting, very capable person. But I think to achieve her goals, she would go lengths which borderlines villain, I'd say. She's not a villain, but if Berserk spoilers, if you haven't read the Golden Age arc of Berserk, I'll do this when I'm done with spoiling Berserk. So spoilers now. She's like Griffith in Berserk. She's not really a villain, but to achieve her goals, she will sacrifice anything and everything. Tell us how you think Kalrim would turn out the other rulers if they became monarch. That'd be real cool, actually. Alright, I'll stand with Francis as I'm talking about her. I think the first thing you should do is make it so women can inherit titles, inherit land, inherit pretty much everything. Make it so, like, it's firstborn, it's not firstborn male heir. It's whoever your firstborn is who you're supposed to give it to. Should fucking knight a bunch of... Should knight every siren. Should definitely knight every siren, without a doubt. Like, that she trusts each of them with her lives, she's seen that they're all capable, they'd become her new Queen's Guard. She might leave one or two members of the King's Guard on her Queen's Guard, because, like, it's like, hey, you're good, you're good. I don't care what's in your pants. If you're good with a sword, you're good with a sword. That's all that matters. So that would change. I feel like she would spend a lot of time trying to improve diplomatic relations with Yor after what happened with the War of the Dragon of the Blossom, because that kind of ruined relationships with Yor. Like, if you're a half Yor, half Calumet born, you are not welcome in either city. It's like being like a mudblood in Harry Potter. I'm just a shitty example. I really don't like Harry Potter, for obvious reasons. But it's like being a mudblood in Harry Potter. You're like, oh, you're half Muggle, yuck. And the Muggles are like, ooh, you're half wizard. You can do cool wizard shit. That's gross. Yeah, so you're kind of like treated like an outcast by most people. In fact, if you were... In fact, you'd probably be treated by a bastard. Well, by a bastard, you'd probably be treated like a bastard if you were half and half by other people. They'd be like, yuck. What? So that person's going to inherit... Oh yeah, because of rolling, yeah. Well, Harry Potter itself, I used to be a very big Harry Potter fan. And then I fell out of it, and then I heard about J.K. Rowling, and I definitely fell out of it. I still... Okay, the movies will always be good. The movies are good, the actors are good, the world's really cool. It's just a lot of things that J.K. did, and did recently, just make me dislike it. Yeah, definitely. The best thing they can do with Harry Potter is separate it from J.K. Rowling. I really want them to do a 1920s, 1950s Harry Potter story with like a TV series set in like America or Ireland or somewhere, and just keep J.K. Rowling out, make it interesting, change it up. But yeah, I think she'd improve relationships with Yor a bunch, and it would be a golden age. I feel. I think she'd be an awesome ruler. Just the way she got there probably wouldn't be the best. And this is Velk, which I keep starting talking about him and I keep going off topic. This is the heir. He will likely be king unless something happens to him or unless he does what I'm about to mention. Velk's a super anxious dude. He's deeply afraid of failure. And he doesn't fucking want to be king at all. Music's loud, and it keeps going up and down. You know what, maybe we'll put it down to 16.5 decibels instead of 15.5. And this dude's music goes up and down. It's good fucking music, but my god, this is going nutty. Okay, he's super anxious. He's got a big fear of failure. He doesn't fucking want to be king. Like, Bendrick came up to him and was like, "You're my firstborn, you will be king." And he's like, oh, that sounds like a lot of responsibility, Dad. And he's like, "You will do it." It's like, oh, okay. And, he's actually a twin. There's actually two firstborns, technically. But, like, Velk was born a few seconds earlier, so technically he's the firstborn. And his twin brother is Benfried, who I'll go into more detail of later. But Velk strongly believes that his brother Benfried should instead be king. Like at least once a day, he's just like, "Man, Benfried, I cannot do this. I literally can't. I don't want it. I'm going to be a terrible king. I'm going to make terrible decisions. I'm going to ruin our country. It's going to be bad." I don't believe Set and Abraxas were twins. I don't believe. I believe Set was born before Abraxas. But we'll get on to that. But yeah, Velk definitely desperately wants Benfried to take over as his be heir, but Benfried's like, nah, bro, you got this, man. You will be fine. You're just nervous, you're inexperienced, but you will learn, you'll be great, and I believe in you. His wife, because he's currently married, his wife is Lady Marilyn of House Avery, and House Avery is in Harris. I believe, where in Harris is it? It's in Brain No Work. It was House Avery in Harris? Or they're in Saskatchewan? Wait, no, they were in Harris. They were from Wynn, which is down here. Is where Harris is. Harris is a funky little place. Where's Wynn? I'm pretty sure you're blocking it, my guy. Yeah. Here's Wynn. It's Harris is basically. Yeah, House Avery is basically the big macho of Harris. They're like basically the ruling family. They got the most wealth. They got the most influence. They're essentially ruling all of it. Like Wynn is the capital of Harris, which is a part of the Kingdom of Kalrim as a bigger whole. From memory, Wynn it's like Vegas. It is Harris itself is basically a huge tourist destination. If you go to Harris, you go for a good time. Like, and if you say, "Oh, I'm going to Wynn," it's like, "Oh, damn." Like, fuck, dude, you're gonna have a nice night out. You're gonna fucking see some fucking cool shit. You're gonna go down to fucking. I keep using fucking. I'll never stop. You're gonna go down to Shantelia and watch a play. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go down to Shantelia and watch a play. It's like, oh, you're gonna go down to Bloomhild Castle. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go down to Bloomhild. It's like, oh, and you have Regalia Island, and we're not gonna talk much about it. It is all I can say about Regalia Island. It is a private island. It's a private island owned by a funky little family, and if you're super rich, you can go there. And that's all the common folk know about it, and most of the most of the lords, they just know, hey, it's a cool place, and only special people get in there. And that's all we'll say. But yeah, he is married to Lady Marilyn of House Avery, which is the second most powerful noble family of Calumet, which is pretty funny because there's Lord Emmerich? Lord Edwin's, who is Bendrick's third brother, or second brother. Yeah, second brother, third born of Hendrik II, who has his own house, which isn't the second most powerful, even though logically it should be, because it's a spin-off of House Calumet, but it's not. I mean, to be fair, that house was created because he was like, I bested my brother in combat, and I'm king, and you didn't say shit about it, so, you know, I'm rewarding you for not being a little bitch. It's a good way. But yeah, Velk is fond of the things, is all of the things his twin is not. He likes painting, he likes singing, he likes playing the harp. He's got a very beautiful voice, which are all qualities his father says, not qualities of a king. Like why should you be wasting your time painting when you should be planning? Why should you be spending your time singing with a high-pitched voice when you should have a stern voice and be commanding? Like we pay people to sing. Why the fuck are you doing it? It's like, why are you playing the harp with your dainty little fingers when you should be picking up a sword? He's like, you're the heir. I fucking act like it. And he's got 2 daughters and no sons currently. I don't believe his daughters are named. They might be named. I'll have to check the timeline. I've written nothing about them, so even if they are named, it's of no significance whatsoever. But the fact that he has no sons adds to his fucking anxiety, because basically he is the heir and he has no heir. And King Bendrick's like, "Oi, you have given me 2 daughters. Where is my... Oh, you haven't given me 2 daughters. You've given me two granddaughters. Where is my grandson? Where is your heir? Like, hurry the fuck up, make a son." But supposedly, again, rumors circulate that Franziska, his older sister, is trying to convince him that, hey, you know, you might not have a son. Like, that might never happen. You might have no heir. You might not be able to. It's okay. You don't need to stress about it, but maybe you should consider that maybe you can't fulfill the duties that an heir needs to. So that there are rumors circulating that she is whispering doubts into his ear. Again, all alleged. And unless they say it's canon, it's just alleged. Might happen, might not happen. I might be giving you bullshit. I might be giving you the truth. You don't know. But yeah, if Velk was a ruler, I feel like he wouldn't change the status quo too much. I think he'd be too fearful. Because I think Velk to be quite a superstitious man. Not overly superstitious, but I think he spent some time at Fort Verigan, which is on the border of the Lower Heartland and technically House, Lower Heartland and Cantor. So I think he's heard a lot of stories of ghosts and spirits and goblins and all that stuff, and I think he's extremely fearful that if he is crowned, that his rule wouldn't change too much from what Bendrick has set up, out of fear that his disappointed father's ghost will appear and scold him for ruining the kingdom into... He'd be very reliant on advisors. Like, he'd listen to Bendrick a lot, which he does anyway. But I think if Velk was ruler, Bendrick would, like, hint at stuff. But he'd never be like, "Oh, you should do this." He'd be like, "Well, you know, this is here is a problem that we are having. How do you think we can solve it?" Like giving you the question, not the answer. But I feel like Velk would be very reliant on advisors, very, very corruptible, and I think it'd be very easy to puppet the kingdom with him as a ruler. I'm not saying he's a terrible ruler, I'm just saying that I don't think he has the chops for it. at this point in time. Something might happen in a campaign, or he might have some development, but right now, if Bendrick were to die mysteriously, if he were to fall down the stairs and slip on a banana peel, I think Velk would not be the best ruler currently. He has no Jaharis. It's a Song of Ice and Fire reference. But yeah, I do like him as a character, but he's just very, very soft. Like a fucking Giga Chad Benfried. Oh, I forgot to mention that if Velk was king, Benfried would be the captain of the commander of his King's Guard without a fucking doubt. There's no one that Velk trusts more than his brother. But here's Benfried Sarosh Kalamat, technically the third born. He's a nice little man. I think he's cool. Beautiful singer, cool dude. I keep saying I like this guy, because I love all of them. They're all so cool. So this is Benfried, who, unlike his brother, he's very confident and charismatic, with an impressive physique. Who can I compare him to that people know? Think of him like Lancelot, kind of, in Arthurian legend. He's very charismatic, very like, hey, ooh, yeah, but not like arrogantly. He's like a jock, like a high school jock, but like not one of the bully ones, but like one of the ones who will come up to like see a fucking nerd getting bullied and be like, oi, why are you bullying the nerd, dude? Like, this dude's a Chad. Look at him with his little math books. He can fucking math. That's cool. That's real cool. Fucking, what are you doing? Rolling dice? What's happening? You're fighting ogres in your imaginary board game? That's so cool. I'm proud of you. I'm gonna go play some football. You should join me in football. He's like that kind of guy. He's got a good physique. He's very, very built. If there is a tourney in the Starfell Heartlands, he will be there. If there's a tourney that he cares about, like anywhere in Kalrim, he probably wouldn't go down to Cantor, not out of fear, but out of like just being like, hey, if I die in Cantor, who's gonna look after Velk? So I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, he'd definitely like head to like a shit ton of 20s, joust and melees, everything. He has a thrill and love of combat, which is second only to his love of his brother. Fucking best bros. Fucking love him. He's married to Lady Jocelyn of House Maze. House Maze was... Sorry, I should remember all this, but we've created so many houses that I just forget. House Maze was in Saskatchewan. Yes, it was. It was from Coruscant. It was from Coruscant! Oh, I love Coruscant. Apologies, I keep grabbing the wrong thing. Coruscant is in Saskatchewan, which is up here, and Coruscant is here. I love Coruscant. Holy shit, Coruscant is terrifying. So House Maze is the Noah town. Noah named that town. We were asking our friend Noah, hey, we have to name a town. Can you think of a name? And he said Croissant. And we were like, alright. We were just tired and we're just like, fuck it. And then Coruscant really stuck. House Maze are the lords of Coruscant. And their sigil is a scarecrow with crows tearing at it. And House Coruscant has a very interesting punishment. So it's called being scarecrowed, which is like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. No, trust me, it's a lot worse than you can possibly fucking imagine. So basically, instead of the death penalty, instead of being executed, you are... So Saskatchewan's like a big farmland. There's lots of animals, there's lots of beekeeping, there's all that stuff. So in Coruscant, if you are sentenced to death, you are covered in honey and birdseed, and you are like hung up like a scarecrow. You're dressed as one. You're covered up as one. Oh, no, not dressed as one. Apologies. I'm thinking of Smallville. My brain turned off. You're basically completely nude, covered in honey and birdseed, and you were just left there for the crows to fucking tear at your body and the bees to sting you. It is a horrific, terrible, frightening death. Criminals will actively leave Coruscant to commit a crime elsewhere out of fear of being scarecrowed to death. It is horrific and terrifying. And, yeah. I came up with that. I was watching Smallville, and there's a scene in Smallville where it's in season 1, so it's not spoilers, where Clark's hanged up like Jesus, because Jesus symbolism, but it's done really cool. He's got a big S painted on his chest for Smallville, not Superman. And he has like a kryptonite necklace on him. I saw that, and I fell asleep when that happened, and I had a horrific nightmare where I got scarecrowed. I was just covered in like honey and birdseed, and I was getting eaten alive, and it was terrifying. It was a horrible nightmare. And then I wrote it down, and then I had told Regan, I was like, Regan, I have an idea for like a really metal punishment. Regan was like, tell me. And I told them. And it was cool as fuck. So yeah, that's House Maze, which is the Lady Jocelyn of House Maze is fucking Benfried's wife. And also the daughter of the Duke of Saskatchewan, because House Maze is a pretty influential family. I'm just checking something, because is Coruscant marked as the capital? Or Goodberry is marked as the capital? Huh. A little bit confused by... I think I found a contradiction in my lore. Alright, well, we're gonna see live contradiction. Live contradiction. No. Alright, we're gonna think of it. So Goodberry is House Waxford. Alright, so here we go. She's still the granddaughter of the Duke of Saskatchewan, Duke Waxford. All right, that's still canon. That's still canon. So, okay, my justification is Benfried is not her first marriage. Lady Jocelyn Waxford was originally married to a Lord of Coruscant. Originally. Lord Norwell. I'm making up a name, I'm probably not going to write it. Lord Norwell Maze. And he died. Right, and she became widowed. And he died under mysterious circumstances. Like, not like, oh, she was poisoned. Like, he died of like a really unfortunate accident. So people are like, oh, she's cursed. And no one wanted to wed her. And their mother, Benfried's mother, sorry, this music's so catchy. Nephews was kind of like, hey, I'm trying to play matchmaker, and I'm really struggling to find a husband for Jocelyn Maze, and like I'm really struggling, and I can't think of anyone. And like Benfried was like, oh, I'll take her. It's like, well, yeah, I'll do it. Like, you know, I feel bad for the widow. I'll marry her. And she's like, oh, cool, awesome. That checks out, because that's in with his character. He's fucking kind enough to be like, she has lost her husband. She's been dishonored. Her family doesn't like her very much because she's quote unquote unmarriageable. I'll do it. Because he's a Chad. He'd do that. So there we go. The contradiction has been solved. Goodberry is still Goodberry. Duke Waxford is still Duke Waxford. And Jocelyn Maze is still Jocelyn Maze. Contradiction solved. It makes a lot of sense. And I like it. There we go. Anyway, he has a single son named Benjamin, named after his father, because there's a bit of a fucking shrimp for his father. And unfortunately, it is actually public opinion. It's opinion of a lot of the people at the royal court, a lot of the peasants, a lot of the nobles. Everyone thinks that Benfried would be a better heir than Velk, and no one is like really like quiet about it. Like it's not like oh fuck you Velk, your shit, but like Velk knows that people think Benfried would be better, and Benfried knows that too. But Benfried's a Chad, and he spends like a lot of his time trying to train Velk for becoming king. And he often tells Velk, and when Velk's at his lowest, he says, "You, my brother, are to be king, and I shall be the commander of your Kingsguard, and you will have the finest Kingsguard in the land, for the finest king in Calaman's history." What a Chad. Fucking love him. And what if Ben was king? What if Ben was king? Oh. I think that would break his heart. Because there's only one way Benfried could ever be king. There's only one way. Oh, the only way Benfried would ever be crowned king, willingly be crowned king, is if Velk died. And I feel like Benfried's entire personality would really change. Like, I feel like he'd be very, very kind of... He'd be broken. He would completely disregard most of his advisor's advice. He'd be like, rule the kingdom however you want, I don't heavily care. Like, I'm gonna do what I think is best for the people, and you handle all the politics, I do not care, I don't give a shit. And he'd be like Robert, Robert in The Song of Ice and Fire. He'd drink excessively. I feel like he'd get into more, and he'd still go to tournaments. And I feel like he'd take up hunting a lot more. And he'd get into more and more dangerous tournaments. Like hell, he would hunt more and more dangerous things, and the people would be like, oh, look how cool King Benfried is. He's fucking how cool King Benfried is. He's hunting all these beasts, and he'd grow fat and jaded, exactly. And every time he stares down a sword or the tusks of a beast, he'd think to himself, is this the one? Can I finally be with my brother? Can I finally be at peace again? Just an inner desire just to be done with it all. Just say goodbye to everything, but having the strength to be like, I can't, because Velk would be disappointed in me. I feel like that's how he'd rule. It'd be a very sorrowful time. Like, all that charisma just fucking gone. I think also not heavily paranoid, but I think if his brother died, he'd definitely do everything to make sure that there was nothing that he could have done to prevent it, and that it wasn't some type of conspiracy. Because he'd be very, like, not paranoid, but like, you know, I need closure, I need clarification. Like, did my brother die in a freak accident? Was he slain in battle? Did something happen? Like, was this preventable? He'd be very certain about that. We'd have to be. But yeah, he does his best to, like, fucking raise up Velk. But he has the feeling that something's happening behind the scenes. Someone is influencing Velk. Which, if you're paying attention, you might be able to figure out who it could allegedly be. He looks out for his family. He's very strongly a family. But, he doesn't like his younger brother Set and Abraxas. He doesn't like Set because Set's... we'll get to him very soon. He kind of has this really fucking annoying voice. And he's a kind of a prick. Like, he's a tattletale, he's a suck-up. And he's actually. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do this tournament, and be like, oh, actually. The royal family isn't allowed to do it, so if they let you in, they're actually breaking ancient tradition, and I'll have to tell father. It's fucking no one likes it. And he has like Abraxas, who's I believe the youngest son. Because Abraxas in his youth did a shit ton of pranks and delinquency, which actually brought shame to the royal house. Like he would fucking like chamber pots on maids, that kind of shit. Just dumb pranks that on everyone. Like status was not a thing. Like you could be a noble, you could be a peasant, and it doesn't matter. If he thought it would be funny and entertaining, he would do it. A little shit. And everyone knew he was a little shit. Not many fucking people like him. And then we come to the second royal family member that I don't have a mini for. Which is actually really unfortunate. So, Brynhilda Serosh Calamet, the fourth born of King Bendrick and Queen Neffys. Brynhilda was a quiet young girl who was always prone to snooping around places she shouldn't be, especially the kitchens and castle ramparts. Sorry, I'm getting tearful because I feel like it's the saddest thing one of the saddest things I've ever written. Especially the kitchen and castle ramparts. In 24 BM, which stands for 24 years before the sinking of Mer, because that's what the system became. At the age of 12, Brynhilda performed her usual ritual of stealing food from the royal kitchen as it was being prepared. There she took a large helping of the king's plate, before grasping her chest and falling to the ground writhing in pain. After 6 agonizing minutes, she was dead. Upon medical examination, it was concluded that she had ingested poison meant for her father, King Bendrick. The culprit was never found, and her death continues to weigh heavily upon the family to this day, except for the king himself, seemingly. So yeah, after King Bendrick seems to have not been affected by it, supposedly. But, who knows? But yeah, it fucked up the royal family. Like, Velk's... When that happened, Velk became paranoid of being poisoned. Like, really afraid of, like, eating the foods where he doesn't eat too much. Benfried was extremely upset about the whole thing. Yeah, it was really tragic for everyone. Fucking Queen Neffys, like, didn't truly recover. She went from being extremely doting to being, like, super extremely doting. She spends a lot of time with her kids now. Like, a lot, because she's like, one of my kids could die at any moment, and I cannot deal with that again. But yeah, I do like Brynhilda. I have written down like a detailed explanation of events that led up to Brynhilda's death. Like, I know who was responsible, I know what poison they used, I know why they did it, I know all of this shit, but I don't want to reveal it, because I think it would be real cool in a campaign. I think it would be real cool. Because even though fucking like 24 years have passed since then, like fucking the culprit is still alive. The 24 years have passed. The culprit is still alive, and shit's going on. I might change the years, because I think 24 BM's a bit too long, possibly. I need to work out the timeline a bit better, because it was 24 years before the sinking of Mer, and this current campaign takes place very soon, very close to the actual sinking of Mer. That's a 24-year difference. And that would make this character... No. I might lower the age of Brynhilda to make it make sense in terms of timeline. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see about timeline. It can still fit. It can still fit. I just need to lower people's ages, raise ages, change a few years around. But I can't say what I'm talking about because this will give away everything. And this is a huge thing that I want to use one day in a campaign. But here's another character that I really like. Again, I just love every character. I love all of these characters. They're all cool. So this is Ishtar. Ishtar Sarosh Kalamet, fifth born of King Bendrick and Queen Nefis. She is fucking loved by practically fucking everyone. She's real cool. So she was born almost a month prematurely. Ishtar was born small and frail at birth and barely survived the first months of her infancy. Oh, I'm getting DMs by people in my campaign. So one of my players is asking me a question because I brought something up that would cause an issue. Yeah, one of my players, it's Regan. Regan is pointing out a flaw in the timeline which I need to correct because it fucks up a lot of shit. So after stream I'll be fixing that with Regan, hopefully, either today or a different day. But yeah, Ishtar was born early, and her mother, Queen Nefis, would send for the finest healers and alchemists of Evergarden, which is where the elves are from. There are two types of elf species. I haven't come up with names for them yet, so I'm just using filler names, High Elf and Dark Elf. Other than the tone of their skin, they're not treated any differently in Elf Society. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons used to be where it's like, oh, Dark Elves are evil. No, they're not. Like, Dark Elves just means they're in tune with a different, like, that they specialize in a different type of magic. Like, their magic is more about, it's more illusion-based and, like, creating fire and, like, not constructs. That would be the orcs. Creating fire and, like teleportation, that kind of stuff. Where High Elves, I need to come up with a better name. High Elves are more healing-based and light-based and more, like, medicine-based. Like, again, in society, they are treated the exact same. It's just like, oh, you are a Dark Elf, you probably know how to do this. And then I'll be like, yeah, I do, because we are taught how to do this in our culture. Again, treated the exact same. It's just like, oh, you're more likely to know this. Like, hey, you are from, let me think of a place in Australia, you're from Aries Inlet, you probably know where the lighthouse is. And it's like, yeah, I do, because I live around here. I'm taught where it is, because it's our most famous place. Aries Inlet is cool. Go to Aries Inlet. Watch fucking Round the Twist, I swear to God. Yep, we fixed the timeline. Yeah, we literally just fixed the timeline. Just now. That was real easy. Regan and I just fixed it right now. We just halved it. We made it 12 years instead of 24. Anyway, sorry, I keep getting distracted. Ishtar's really important. I'm not respecting her. But anyway, yep, she sent for the finest healers of the Court of Wise. The Court of Wise is, so elven culture is that they respect knowledge and wisdom above all else. So the Court of Wise is a court of, how do I describe it? Like the leaders of elven culture, and they are chosen amongst the best of the best, of elves. So, the best philosophers, the best doctors, the best of their religion, of religious leaders. Which, again, the religious leaders are basically philosophers. There's no, they don't believe that their religious leaders should be, treated as gods, if that makes sense. I don't believe they should be worshipped. They're just, our religious leaders are philosophers. They interpret the text that we have. So it's, the best doctors, religious leaders, herbalists, magicians, just the wisest, that they are part of the Court of Wise, comes the Court of Wise. Mainly just because the other rulers are younger than the Brunhilde would have been. So if she was 12, 24 years ago, even though she's the fourth child that came before her, yeah, I was thinking that it ages up Velk too much and ages up Franziska. Franziska would be in her mid-30s, I believe, if it was 24 years ago, and I don't like that idea. Like, there's nothing wrong with being in your mid-30s, but I feel like if Franziska was in her mid-30s, a lot more would have been achieved at this point in time. And I dislike that it isn't. I like the idea of her being early 30s or late 20s. Because I feel like it flows a lot better in terms of what she's accomplished so far. But yeah, I keep getting distracted. I'm sorry, I'm a distracting person. Thank you everyone that has stuck by this stream and has listened to my insane ramblings of a literal madman. But yeah, the Court of Wires came, and luckily, with the help of the best fucking healers in the land, basically, she was able to survive the harsh winter, and she actually became known as the Lady of Winter was her name, because she was able to survive one of the harshest winters in Kalrim history. And you know, people respect that. And they were just like, oh, you know, if I was queen too. I will give you that at the end. I do like that idea. Ishtar, despite recovering from her illnesses, would still remain sickly and frail her entire life, and confined to the walls of Drakenrest. She has not. I keep moving myself. I don't mean to move myself. I just realized I think I've lowered myself. I don't know, I'll have to fix this later. But yeah, she hasn't ever left Drakenrest. She's never left the capital. She has no idea what the outside world is like, really. Like, the best she knows is from, like, books and stories. And honestly, she probably fucking never will. Yeah, she kills easily, but her constitution is naturally shit. Exactly. So she's basically just got terrible constitution. She's very, what can I compare it to? I don't want to say bad. That sounds bad. But yeah, she's got extremely low constitutions, to put into mechanic terms. She's just very prone to being sickness. So she's very frail looking. Her bones break easily. She's allergic to a lot of things. It's a very unfortunate life, and because of that, she'll probably actually never see, like, the outside world outside of Drakenrest for, like, the entirety of her life. And because of the fact she's, like, yeah, she's small like a bird, wrists like ripped. Is that's from A Song of Ice and Fire? Oh, is it not? Is that from Mike? Is that about what's her face? Oh, I need to fucking get up to date on Better Call Saul. What was I up to talking about? Yeah, she's shy and reserved because, again, she doesn't get to go outside, or she's scared of the outside world a little bit. And the fact that, like, a lot of things can set off her allergies, and she'd never be able to defend herself. Like, it's impossible, basically. She just doesn't like talking to a lot of people. She barely talks to any of her siblings, except for Abraxas, which we'll get to. She has a fascination with prehistoric books, and in Levin culture, so in Levin there's a bunch of different ages, which is what I call the different time periods. So there's the prehistoric age, which is before medieval times. Anything before then is called prehistoric age or the lost age, and no one really knows what happened though. Something happened, and any and all knowledge of that event is just kind of gone, and any books about it, it's like Calamant law that prehistoric books need to be found, brought to like the royals, and then destroyed immediately without it being read. If you read it, you are executed. There is no questions to ask. It's really suspicious, and no one really knows why. Even the fucking King Bendrick, he probably doesn't know why. He's just like, this is the law, we are keeping it for some reason. But Ishtar's become fascinated with them and would get hold of them somehow and read them in secret, keeping it secret from her father. And the only speaking of her father, again, doesn't show her much love. And the only thing that her father has ever given her is an old magical staff that came into his possession as a wedding gift, which he hoped would provide her like entertainment. Because it was like, hey, go learn magic or some shit. And she's used it to cause a shit ton of fucking mischief, because her and her brother Abraxas, when they were younger, would do pranks together. They would absolutely terrorize the castle inhabitants, and they became the bestest of friends. And alright, I'm gonna reveal this. I'm gonna reveal you one of my hidden secrets, because if we're talking about Ishtar's rule. So Ishtar's rule as queen would be fucking insane. Alright. So, I can't quite go into detail why, because I'm currently writing it and I'm trying to make it sound better. But due to her surviving that winter and all the elven, what they did to save her, it's not like, oh, she's holding a demon inside of her. It's nothing like that. It's very simple. It's simple once they figure out how to say it. Because of all that, Ishtar has been given something called the Sight. She often dreams about events that haven't happened yet. Sometimes it's not complete, and those events can change, but usually with her influence, somewhat. But she can have dreams of the future, possible futures. So again, completely uncontrolled. She can't be like, I want to see what the future of me is. It's nothing like that. It's completely random. She could see the future of some random bird that's going to die, that she might happen to meet. But I feel like with that gift, it would be extremely beneficial to the kingdom. At certain times, it would be insane. She would be literally confined to like a throne bed. Like, her throne would have to have pillows and like blankets and shit. She'd be wheelchair bound, I feel, if she had to rule, because she wouldn't be able to get up all those fucking, like, all that moving around. She wouldn't be able to cope with it, I don't think. And it's very interesting. She also studies a bunch of, because of the prehistoric book, she's uncovered a lost form of magic that's not entirely known. She's like Bran, exactly. A little bit like Bran, but without the control and the emotion. Without the emotionless as well. But yeah, I'd say very similar to Bran. But just a lot more caring and a lot more like Bran plus, what's her name? Jaehaerys' wife. I can't believe I forgot her name. Alysanne. She's like a combination of Bran and Alysanne. I feel like she would definitely want to listen to the people and the lords a lot. But I feel like that would be more through letters than actually face-to-face conversation. She'd write letters to lords and get letters back. And I feel like that, like, less face-to-face woman's court like Alysanne had, and more writing a bunch of letters. And because of her prehistoric reading, which I started before, and her uncovering a kind of lost magic art, I feel like she'd not be powerful, definitely not powerful, but she'd be able to do things that other rulers might not be able to. Like, I can't say too much. She'd have an ally that no other ruler before or after her would have access to. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to spoil the entire. Because I have something big coming that I want to write about. and I don't want to ruin all the lead up. I don't want to ruin the big reveal. I think it should be cool. I feel like, though, that her reign would end with her death. She wouldn't have any heirs. She wouldn't... Not out of a lack of want, but just out of, like, I couldn't do this. I couldn't be, you know, intimate with someone. I feel like she wouldn't. But yeah, she's cool. I like her. Man, these ones I don't have fucking minis for. I don't have minis for these at all. So this is the sixth born, which is Set Sarosh Kalamat. No one... Oh, I forgot to mention that Ishtar is really beloved by everyone. Like, a lot of people will, like come to, like, the kingdom gates hoping to, like, catch a glimpse of Ishtar, the Lady of Winter. I don't have a picture. There's no picture of Set. Alright, I'm gonna put a picture of Set up? Okay. I'll put a fucking picture of fucking Set up right now. I got a picture of Set right now. Real picture of Set. I'll fucking do it. For real. No cap, I'll do it. You fucking question my authority. This is probably a web MD. It fucking is. But it's fine, I think I can still use it. Nope. Wait, yes, I can. Alright, this is Set. This is Set now. This is him. No one's gonna get that, Cal. No one's gonna get that reference. So, growing up, Set was disliked by nearly everyone around him for his horrid attitude. He was prone to, but not limited to, petty and snide remarks, ruthlessly insulting people's appearances, snitching at each and every opportunity, and treating the members of the royal court with such contempt as to cause several of them to leave. It is, it's Grimmauld. Queen Nefis, his mother, tried for many years to find a suitable match for Set in hopes to find someone who would temper his personality. Though this was all in vain, in his eyes no woman was without flaws, and it is sad that he was once offered the hand of a beautiful elven princess from across the sea, but proclaimed, "I despise the gait of her walk. Send her to Harris brothel where she belongs." And furious at her failure to find a bride for his at her failure to find a bride for his son, King Mendrick said to the Queen, "Give him a Steiner woman for all I care. They would jump at the chance to marry my house if they thought it would put them one step closer to royalty." So Set was wed to Lady Griselda of House Steiner, the pig-nosed daughter of Lord Steiner. After the wedding, King Bendrick shipped his son and his daughter-in-law in tow to a prestigious Moorish academy in the hopes that he would learn something to make himself useful. So Mer hasn't sunk yet. So Mer is up here. It is basically an island continent, essentially ruled by orcs. Orcs in my setting are really cool. I really like how I changed orcs. I'm so sick of orcs being stupid or muscular or me killed, me have tribe. I fucking hate that. I think it's dumb and stupid. So I literally changed orcs completely in my setting. They are practically the exact same visually as they are in most things. But not horrendously ugly though. But like tusks and, you know, kind of piggish noses and like green skin. And orcs are fucking smart as fuck. So, orc religion is non-existent. They are atheists. They believe that Levin was created when a Big Bang happened. They believe in the Big Bang Theory. And because of that, they're not horrendous, they're just hideous. Shut up, they're not hideous. I'd date an orc. But because of the fact that they've had no religious arguments, they haven't quote-unquote wasted time building churches and going to holy crusades and all that fucking bullshit. They've devoted their time to science, and Mer is not extremely advanced, but they're ahead. I think currently the most advanced thing that's been created in Mer is the printing press currently, I believe. But yeah, they're relatively advanced. A lot of new technology comes out there, and they have a lot of trade schools. So if you want to study something and you get invited to like a university or like a college in Mer, it's like getting invited to like Harvard. It's fucking huge, or Oxford, massive. So Set got sent off there, and I believe is currently studying to be a practitioner of law, a judicial advisor, something along those lines. He's studying law because it's like, oh, well, you know, I mean, I already know every law, so like, you know, like people don't believe me because they're dumb and stupid and ignorant, and if I have an actual title, people are going to listen to me, which is good because they should listen to me because I'm right. He's Ben Shapiro! He is! Set is literally Ben Shapiro. Oh my god. If I ever roleplay Set, I'm gonna watch a bunch of stupid, dumb Ben Shapiro videos just so I can do the perfect impression. Oh, that's true. Yeah, Set, no one likes him. And it's also sad that Set spends little to no time with his wife. I don't remember if he had any children. He might have. Let me check the family tree. According to my family tree, Adonis, Orion, that's Edwin's house. According to my law, Grishoda and Set had a child called Ainz. E-I-N-Z. So I'm just going to assume that if Set had a child, it was kind of just like, I'm sick of father bothering me, we will have a child, and then you will leave me alone. Literally just had a child so his father would stop asking. Like, I created the baby, leave me alone. I cannot see Set as a good father. Like, not like a terrible father, just like not being there. It's like, your son's turned 5, and it's like, oh, 5? Wasn't he turning, like, 3? It's like, no, it's fucking... He canonically doesn't know his son's age. He doesn't care about his son's age. In fact, I think he barely spends any time at home. So focused solely on work. Definitely not interested at all. I can't... And Set as ruler, I think that's less likely than Ishtar. I think Brynhilda's corpse has a more likely chance at being heir to the throne than Set. But if somehow every single successor to the throne was pushed into a meat grinder as king, oh, he would be assassinated. Set would be assassinated within his first, like, year. For maybe 2 years. He would go to every single council meeting, and he would do a shit ton of research. He'd be very methodical. And when he would not listen to his advisors in the slightest. Like someone would be like, oh, I think we should tax these people. He'd be like, actually, you think we should tax them by 3%. I think if we check them by 8% increase, we could achieve more. And it's like, well, yeah, but if we do that, the lords are going to be pissed. And it's like, the lords are always pissed. Are you talking back to me? I want you off my council. Mm-hmm. I think he would piss everyone off. People would leave. People would leave. He would the King's Guard would constantly be replaced. There would be, I guarantee, in the kingdom, the peasants would have bets on which members of the King's Guard would last the longest. Because every so often, like, he'd have inspections, like full-on actual inspections, and if your shoes weren't polished, if you didn't have the regulation haircut, if you were like late by a second, if you didn't stand perfectly straight, he'd be like, "All right, you're off. We're getting someone new." He would be the worst. 100% by the book, and just the worst. The peasants would hate him because he does not care for them in the slightest. Like, not tyrant. I don't think he'd be a tyrant. I don't think. Possibly. I don't think he would. I think he'd be very by the book, and people would hate him for it. There would be no festivals. A festival that wasn't tradition wouldn't be held. It's like, oh, this person's coming to visit. Oh, okay. But do you expect us to waste money on having a grand feast for you? Like, you're not important. I am the king, and you are some lord with a disgusting bride who has pigeon toes. Why should I waste my money, our kingdom's money, on giving you a feast? You have money by your own. And therefore no one would come to visit him. And he would love that. And one of the first things he would do was divorce his wife. He's like, "I don't care for you, goodbye." Immediately. He wouldn't remarry or anything, he'd just be like, "Good, you're gone. Father is dead, I am king, goodbye." It'd be insane. It'd be insane. He'd be like, King Henry. Like, who's the king that created the whole religion to divorce his wife? He'd be like that person. But yeah, that'd be interesting. And now I think we're on to the last one. I think we are on to the last one, which I believe is Abraxas. Alright, I found the perfect picture for Abraxas. Literally found the world's best picture for him. Yeah, you're right, Regan. It's realistic blood. Let me just make it small. Alright, Abraxas is a funky little person. I don't have a huge amount on them. They're not super significant to 11. That sounds mean. They're not super significant. It's just I don't know what to do with the character. So I haven't got a huge amount. Mason Troy Adams. Mason Troy Adams. Yeah, but Abraxas Rosh Calamant, 7th born and last child of King Bendrick and Queen Nephis. King Bendrick is done with pumping out children. And Queen Nephis is done with King Bendrick's bullshit. So, you know, they're very obviously estranged. Abraxas was born as the 7th and last child, and Abraxas was often neglected by his father and the king, and naturally grew closer to his mother. He's a fucking mommy's boy. And his mother, Nephis, would often bring him on her journeys back to her homeland of Vesti, which is down bottom right. He significantly prefers Vestian culture, preferring its food, preferring its religion. Vesti has a very interesting religion. Vesti believes that the entire world is the eye of a giant serpent. Not in the eye, it is the eye of a giant serpent. And one day, something called the Great Hunt will begin, where a warrior will hunt the snake and attempt to stab it in the eye. And if the eye is stabbed, the world will crack in two and will fall from the snake's body and everyone will die. And the snake will die, and that's very sad. So they believe that the snake inhabits the body of a host. So whoever their current ruler is inhabiting the spirit of the snake. It's kind of like Egyptians, what they used to believe, where their pharaoh was the reincarnation of Ra. It's like that. So whenever a pharaoh dies, the spirit leaves and goes into the body of the next pharaoh, except they're called sultans here. And they believe that if they follow the rules of the sultan, because they have very, very strange rules, they have to follow the rules of the sultan exactly, or the world's gonna fucking end. I straight up believe that. And also they have huge fucking sharks called sand sharks, which they ride across the desert. It's cool. Yeah, like Abraxas and spent a bunch of time in Vesti. And King Bendrick fucking hates that, and he's just like, hey, you know, our religion, the religion of Calamanth, with our dragon goddess, who breathed life into a rock, is real, and you are offending our goddess, and you're making a mockery of the royal family, and you're disgusting, and fuck you. And Abraxas and Ishtar caused a shit ton of trouble in their youth, pulling pranks on the inhabitants, especially targeting their older brother Set, because it's funny to make fun of him because no one likes him. And it's really sweet because Abraxas did all these pranks to cheer up his sister, and also to get attention that he didn't get from his father, but, you know, to cheer up his sister, it's really cute. He now focuses his time on reading and studying history books to make something of himself. And that's all I have on Abraxas. Abraxas doesn't have much history, and I hope one day Abraxas can expand his history and become something great. Because, you know, I think Abraxas has a lot of potential, and, you know, I want to see the character grow. But what if Abraxas was king? Huh. I don't know. I don't know. Huh. I got no idea. Regan, what do you think it would be? Actually, you wouldn't know. We didn't talk too much about it. Abraxas was like an afterthought. Prankster King? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe Prankster King. Maybe he wouldn't change his ways. He'd be like, the Earth Nation King in Avatar. What was his name? You know who I'm talking about, the Earth Kingdom leader Avatar. Yeah, this dude. Boomy. Yeah, he'd be like Boomy from Avatar. Yeah, I'd say he'd be like a funny little pranky guy. I don't think he'd be a bad king. I think he'd be a pretty good king. A very interesting king. I feel like the kingdom would change a bit though, because of how much time he's spent in Vesti. I feel like a lot more Vestarian influences would come over. I think it'd be interesting. I think there'd be a lot more color in the castle. I think it'd be real cool. But yeah, that's it for the royal family. For now. I'll probably update it when I have a lot more. I'm gonna have some water because I've been speaking for like 2 hours and I haven't had any water. I'm very thirsty. Listen, I don't just have to drink water when you can redeem. Thank you, Regan. Now I can legally drink. And now I legally have to stretch to work. As a funny little gag, I'm going to do a proper stretch. I'm going to do an actual proper, like, full-on stretch that my gym instructor taught me. Alright. Alright. Oh, my back. Oh, my back was really cracked. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Look at listen. Did you hear that? It cracked like super loud. Oh, my chair. My Game of Thrones. That wasn't a similar country. It was fucking noisy. Yeah, I got like pop rocks. Yeah, that's my back from doing like an actual real stretch. It's called Gamer's back. My back feels so good. I feel at peace. And imposter check, yes, it's important. But that's everything on the royal family, but I have a shit ton more on the regions. That's some interesting stuff. I spoke about the Starstruck Festival, which it's going to happen. The Starstruck Festival is going to happen. Like it has to happen in campaign at some point, because it's so cool. It's so cool. It has to happen in campaign at some point. Then Harris. We're gonna talk about Harris first. Because I like Harris. So this is the Harris Peninsula. Regan came up with the word peninsula. Well, yeah, Regan invented the word. I'll do a Starstruck Festival between the beginning and Frosthill. That's the plan. But considering you're going to be spending a lot of time in Cantor, I mean, it can still be done. It still happens. Just Starfell's the bit. Let's go to Starfell. Actually, yeah, that's possible. You can head there on the way, but let me check the possible route. I'm not gonna pinpoint exactly where you're going because I want it to be a surprise. Oh yeah. Then. Oh wait, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy to do actually. Oh, that's like super easy. Yeah, that's no problem. Oh yeah, piece of cake. Yeah, it's easy to do. I'll work on adding that to chapter 2 because I think that'll be nice. Okay, this is the Harris Peninsula. It's a hotspot for vacations. It's got thousands of restaurants, hotels, brothels. Because prostitution is legal, as it should be. Well, I mean, it depends. Like if it's legitimized, it doesn't. Okay, Regan. Forward of call. Regan. Listen. You know, I'm not even gonna go on my rant. I was gonna go on a good rant. All right, Regan. Okay, the city that we live near. Okay, so. All right. Okay, this is not appropriate music for what I'm about to say. So, I went into the city that we live near, Regan, with my mom, and we had to park far away from where we were gonna go, because Mom learned how to drive. She got isekai over and she learned how to drive before me, and we had to park far away from where we were gonna be, and I'm not gonna name the building. I don't quite remember the building name, so even I could name it, I couldn't. And I got up and I stared at it. I was like, what is this building? And my mom told me what it was. She was like, Cal, don't go in there. That is an actual brothel. And I was like, haha, and it's funny. It was like, no, I'm serious. It's a brothel. I'm like, what, for real? I was like, yeah. I'm like, damn. So there's an actual brothel in the city that we live in. Like a real one. I haven't been in. And I'm not going to go in. But I'm just saying that there is one though. Nice! That's the best reaction to that news, just nice. But yeah, there's a bunch of brothels and casinos. The entire region is lined with like lots of like flashy lights and shit. Well, not flashy lights, but like illuminations, just like beautiful colors. But if you want to get the true Harris experience, because like going to these places is fine. Ironstag is cool. I am so excited to talk about Ironstag. Ironstag was one of my favorite places in all of it. Like all Adrian's. Oh, fucking Adrian's. Oh, I love Adrian's. Oh. I mean, right, if you go to Harris, go past Angelical, there's no real point going there. Yeah, head down to Adrian's. It's Adrian, you know, Adrian's. And then stop there for a bit, and then head down to Wynn, because Wynn is the best place. It is the capital, and because it's got the capital and House Avery is backing it, you have the best. It's Adrian's, exactly. It's Adrian's. I don't even have to talk about Adrian's. It's Adrian's. We all know. We've all been to Adrian's. It's my favorite in-joke on the map. But yeah, Wynn is the home of the extremely wealthy and powerful family of House Avery, as I've mentioned. They have the finest brothels in all of Leven, and they have the Royal Theatre, which I actually moved. I actually moved the Royal Theatre. The Royal Theatre is no longer in Wynn. I've changed that, because I thought Wynn had too much. The Royal Theatre is now in Chantelia, which is the small island here. So if you want to go to Chantelia, you have to catch a ship from Wynn. Well, probably like a cruise ship down to Chantelia. Yeah, the Royal Theatre has a lot of performances that pull on the heartstrings of its guest, and it is said that during one particular tale of tragedy, King Bendrick VIII himself was so moved to tears that he gave a standing ovation. King Bendrick VIII, the most feared person in all of Leven, gave a standing ovation with teary eyes. That's fucking impressive. Like, damn. I haven't come up with a name for that play, or an idea of what it's about, other than it's a tragedy. But I'd say that would become, like, this world's equivalent of Hamilton. Like, you know how everyone's like, oh, Hamilton's so fucking good. Like, oh my god, go watch Hamilton. It's like that, but in this world. It's like, oh, fucking, have you seen this? Oh, that's the one that King Bendrick cried in. It's like, yes, that one. It's extremely impressive. And it's performed like once every few years. Unless the king requests it, then it's performed again, obviously. And then there's Ironstag. Fucking love Ironstag. So I came up to Regan. I called Regan, I believe, in a state. And I was like, Regan, I have come up with the coolest idea for a place in Harris. And Regan was like, alright, what you got? And I was like, alright, so I want to create a place. I don't think we actually gave a name to the house that's in Ironstag. I don't believe. We need to do that. We need to start naming more of the houses, because we didn't do that. You know what? I'm going to name it right now. Does anyone have any suggestions for a house name? I'll go into detail why people are thinking. But Ironstag is famous for wrestling. And I mean like actual, like, full-on, like he's from hell and he's come back to life to kill his brother. Like that level of wrestling. It is purely acting and choreography and entertainment. And it is insane, because think of like professional wrestling, like the goofiness of that, with the addition of magic being real. And all these like illusion magic going off while it's happening. It's fucking cool. House Deerspur and they're fucking with a Periton? Fuck yeah. That's perfect. I literally can't add it to the list, Regan, right now, because I can't edit it because I'm not allowed to. But God, edit that list. Add it. It's beautiful. House Deerspur of Ironstag. I fucking love it. But yeah, so they have like professional goofy wrestling, and a lot of people come down to see it. Especially, like, you usually wouldn't bring kids to Harris often. Especially probably not to win, probably to Adrian. I mean, it's Adrian's. You can bring kids to Adrian's. Maybe Imperia. Actually, probably not. But if you were going to go with the family, you'd stop at Ironstag, because wrestling's pretty fucking cool. Like, I'm not a huge wrestling fan. When I was younger, I used to be really cringe. I think I used to be like this until I turned 18. Until I became an adult. I used to be like, oh, why do people like wrestling? It's very clearly fake and scripted, and it's cringe. And then I grew up, and I was like, no, I get it now. Like, no one thinks it's real. No one actually thinks that wrestling is real. Everyone knows it's fake and scripted. And that's why people love it? Because it's just cool. Like I was doing a bunch of, like, reading up, because my brother got into wrestling. And my brother was telling me, I came over to visit him, and he told me about it. He was like, yeah, so this guy, he's like an undead zombie, and when he enters the stage, sometimes they just wheel a coffin out, and he, like, grabs the person's throat through the coffin. And I was like, it's just cool. It's just cool. Like, it's not real, and it's just cool. And I wanted to have something like that. But because the fact that wrestling is fake, obviously, a lot of people fucking think it's a shit sport. Because I don't remember where we put this, because I didn't write it down, but Regan and I were talking about the idea that either in the Starfell Heartland somewhere, either in Upper or Lower Starfell, or maybe in, like, somewhere in Alson Harris, they have actual proper, like, blood sports. Like, real gladiator combat shit. Like, full-on coliseums. And because of that culture of, like, real death sports, people think Ironstag and wrestling is a fucking joke. They're like, what, you going around wearing costumes and masks and making up these fake stories and dancing around for a crowd? That's fucking gay. I can say that because I like to kiss Matt. But yeah, they think it's fucking, like, what's the word? Campy. They think it's campy. And they're like, why would we ever watch that when we can go here and watch, like, real life and death situations? Yeah, so it's kind of treated as kind of like how wrestling's treated in the real world, where it's like how I used to be, where I was like, oh, it's cringe. But then you have, like, Die Hard. You know what? I'm sprinkling some lore back in. I'm making up lore on the fly because I like this idea. Let me go into my Levin folder. I like the idea that Benfried... I like the idea that he's a wrestling fan, but, like, a closeted wrestling fan. Like, he tries to fucking hide it out of, like, not shame, but being like, no one's gonna take me seriously. Like it's like fucking Bendra could be like, fucking, did you hear what they're doing at Ironstag now? They've got a female wrestler who pretends to be some reincarnated demon. It's ridiculous, it's disgusting, it's disgraceful. And Benford would be like, yeah, it's fucking weird that some woman from Yor is, like, pretending to fight. It's like, how did you know she was from Yor? I read about it. Like he's like a hardcore wrestling fan, and he like heads down to Harris under the guise of like, oh, I'm going to see a play. I got like stuff to do there. Oh, I'm going out, going out to the pub there. When really he goes down to Ironstag and fucking watches wrestling. He like dresses up like he disguises himself. Fucking goes though. I like to think that. I like to think as a closeted wrestling fan. Because it's a chat. He'd think it was cool. Okay, I'm not gonna... I don't know if I want to make it canon or if it's too ridiculous and cliche. But maybe Ben Fried at some point in time was like moonlit as a wrestler in Ironstag, like wearing like a full-on luchador mask. Maybe. I don't know. I have to think about it if I want to make that canon or not. Because the idea of him being a wrestling fan I really like, but you want to make it canon? All right, we'll put it up to a vote. We'll get a vote up. I'll make a poll. We'll see what the people say. Okay, I wish you could do it from OBS, but you can't, which sucks. Oh look, I can hear myself. I'm getting rated. Fuck. Hi, I'm Kalrim Frosthill. I'm a rogue VTuber from the world of Legend. Thank you, Regan. And we're doing a Just Chatting stream where I talk about my DnD Homebrew because I'm a nerd. We're currently trying to decide if my character Ben Fried is secretly a pro wrestler or not. And welcome. Thank you for the raid. I really want to play Nobody Saves the World. It looks real cool. I didn't even know it was out yet. I'm checking on Steam right now. Is it out? Hi, welcome. Nobody saves the... Oh, it's out? When did it come out? Came out yesterday. Oh. Well, okay, well that checks out. Oh, it's got some funky reviews. It's very mixed. That's unfortunate, because I was really hyped for this. Hey, DnD campaign creation is fun as hell. How long have you been working on this one? Oh boy. This answer is going to surprise... I don't think I've told many people this. I started creating this world a very, very long time ago. I think I was like 6 or 7 when I started creating this. For reference, I'm 22 now. Okay, sad story time. When I was a kid, I didn't have very many friends. I don't think I had any friends till I was like 12, like 11, 12. So instead of like going out, hanging out with a bunch of friends, I would just kind of write. And I created this fictional... I didn't have a name yet at that time. I don't think I had a name until I probably turned 9, and I heard the story. But I used to write all these stories about this fictional land that I had made up. And then eventually I got into D&D and was like, I'm going to turn that into a D&D world. And I started doing that, and with the help of my friend Regan, who's in chat right now, Regan's created all these real cool maps, which, I need to zoom out. This is 1 continent, and there's like 6. It's a real cool map. I mean, everything's in the way. I didn't expect a lot of people to be here. I'm scared of people. People are scary. This map of the region of Kalrim. Exactly, you are cool and epic, Reagan. That's another continent, that's Taiwan, that's another continent, that's Euro. And we were talking about the royal family, and then I was talking about Harris, which is like Vegas, but for the people of Kalrim. And I was trying to decide if Bendrick, who is the second son of the current king, third born, because the firstborn was a woman, and it's traditional medieval rules. Woman can't inherit titles, which is cringe. And the firstborn, Francisca knows that, and she's a girl boss, and she's fucking awesome. can relate. I used to write a lot back in high school and I ended up writing a 27,000 word novel by the time I graduated. Nice! Fuck yeah. I don't know if I have the patience or the skill to write a novel, but that's awesome. Congratulations. What's it about? I'm interested. I forgot I was putting up a poll and then I got distracted. Because I got raided and I got scared. Being raided is scary. Like, I appreciate it. But when I hear that horn, I'm just like, people, I hope they think I'm cool and not a nerd. Manage poll. New poll. Ben Fried, pro wrestler in secret? Yes. No. Start poll. 3-minute poll. We'll poll for 3 minutes. 3 minutes is an appropriate amount of time. Okay. Okay, so far we have 1 for yes. Because I think the idea is cool. That, like, he'd be like, so you guys are fighting without fighting? That's so cool. And, like the idea of, like, creating a persona. Because I get the feeling that Ben Fried wins stuff because he's actually good. Like, he's legitimately good. He's probably as good as his father, if not better. I'd say Raedric would have trained him a bit as member of the Kingsguard. But I feel like Ben Fried would have this, like, thought in the back of his head, like, I'm really people think of me as like the son of the king. People are going easy on me, and even though wrestling's fake, is like, I can be someone else. I can have people like me, not because I'm the son of the king, but because I'm cool and epic. And I think he likes that. I think he likes the cheer of the crowd, and the goofiness of it all. It's about an alien from a utopic society that ends up losing everything, is forced to flee to Earth, and ends up having to balance an existential crisis. The overwhelming threat is chasing him down an awkward romance with a scientist who got genetically converted to one of his species. That sounds awesome! That sounds awesome! That just was real cool. I actually want to read that. If it's published like anywhere, like on Wattpad, or if it's on a website somewhere, feel free to post a link if you want to, because that sounds real cool. I like reading interesting stuff like that. What did I read recently? I read this Yeek fanfiction. If you don't know what Yeek is, it's a funky little indie RPG that's very weirdly written. But it was a fanfiction where one of the characters was a serial killer, killing people so they could post it on their website and everyone would be interested. But it's like 4chan, I guess. And it was a cool little fanfiction. It was interesting. It made the world of Yeek cool instead of pretentious. But yeah. Alright, it looks like Ben Fried's... Alright, Ben Fried's pro wrestler now. That's canon. I'm gonna have to think of a whole identity, an entire back... I'm gonna have to expand Ben Fried a bunch. I did get it published, yeah, I'll whisper it to you as it's under pending and refer to, like, oh yeah, sure thing, like, don't worry then. I will read it myself and I won't tell anyone. I'm amazing at keeping secrets. But yeah, that sounds real cool. I'm actually really excited to read it. I've been trying to find good stuff to read because I finished... What did I finish recently? I finished... Brain's not working. What did I finish reading? It was a manga, Mahou Shoujo. I finished reading Mahou Shoujo and I've been trying to find out other stuff to write/read. Not read, just read. My brain's not working. There's people here. I'm getting flustered because there's a lot of people. Alright. I'm good now. I'm all good. Okay, so I've spoken about Harris. And we're moving on to... Brain's not working. We've done Starfall and Karis, and then we're moving to fucking Cantor. I love Cantor. I keep saying this is my favorite place, but I mean it. Like, every place in this setting I just love. So Cantor's real cool. It's a funky little place. So, okay, thank you. I would check it after stream. It's gonna be my new reading material. Alright, so this is all of Cantor. It starts at Fort Verrigan and it ends. It ends when it ends. But Cantor is an interesting region. It's also known as the Strange Lands, especially by like the peasants. It's a land that nature has seemingly tried to reclaim, evident by the overgrowth and untamed nature of the region. So in my setting, magic currently, at this point in time, it's pretty, not super common, but relatively common. That changes very quickly. But the idea of like mythical beasts like goblins or fairies or like yokai, that's not common at all. It's very extremely uncommon. But it seems that all those kind of creatures are extremely common in Cantor. Like past Fort Verrigan, no. Like if you say you saw a fairy, people would laugh at you and lock you up for being insane. But if you say you saw like, you're like, oh, I was going home from the pub, and in fucking Carthage, and then I tripped over a rock, and the rock looked at me, and it had the face of my long dead wife, and it grew arms and legs, and it stole my beer and ran off. People would be like, oh, that's real. That happened. Like, if you said it was in Cantor, they would believe you. Because a lot of shit happens. And, like, there's tales of, like, liches, ghouls, necromancers, vampires, and fae. It has no official capital. Like, Cantor has no capital. Officially. Like, no lord wants to claim responsibility for this region at all. Like in the past, like, it's been offered to people. It's like, hey, do you want to fucking... I'll give you the title of the Duke of Cantor. And people are like, that's cool. But I don't want it, no thank you. This horrific apparition appears to, like, run off. Thank you. It is a real Irish story. That is such an Irish story. Regan, did we make Cantor Island, or did we make Harris Island? Which one? I don't remember which one we made Island. One of them is. One of them is basically just Island. Man, I want to go to Island one day. I want to see my relatives. I think it would be cool. But yeah, so there's no actual official capital, but there's an unofficial one, which is being blocked by chat. Chat, you're blocking my law. Down here, Shelley Hall. Shelley Hall over here is the unofficial capital of Cantor, which is home to House Steiner. With their minor noble house. Let's make it Cantor, because yeah, Cantor is poor and weird, just looks like Ireland. And I mean that in a loving way. I fucking love Ireland so much. Yeah, there's Shelley Hall, which is essentially the capital. It's not, but it's treated like it because it's a port city. It connects to the capital through trade routes. It's big, and it's like it's the most powerful of minor houses here, and yeah, Cantor has an adventurers guild, which is in Canvas Town. Hence the name, because it's being built currently. It's actually not done. It's a faction founded in collaboration of House Avery funded it, and House Steiner did all the fucking building and shit. And also a considerable loan from the Bank of Mer. So, Cantor owns Calumet kind of brushed it over to Cantor, owes a shit ton of money to the Mega Mayor. And the Adventurers Guild was created, one, to create new jobs, and to get rid of all the fucking weird creatures that are there. So there's a monopoly of trade routes with a whole lot of power over the region. They definitely do. They're not properly powerful, because no one fucking wants to come here. But they're like, hey, we're the capital, kind of. It's their claim to fame. They're like, oh, welcome to Shelley Hall. We're kind of the capital. We're cool, aren't we? And people are like, yeah. Goblin ate my baby. But yeah, the Adventurers Guild, still being built. It's mainly tents and stuff at the moment. And, again, monsters everywhere, especially in the town of Brine. Brine's an interesting place, but I'm going off topic. Well, not really, it's still on topic. Brine is based on, I forgot what the town is called. It's where the Frankenstein movie takes place. It's kind of based on that. And there's an interesting story, which is a side story of my campaign, that takes place in Brine. So, I'm currently writing a novel. Well, it's mainly just for myself, but I might publish it. Not publish it, but I might show it to people one day. It's called Crypt Into My Heart, and it's like an adventure romance. And we're finally talking about one of the homebrew races of my campaign, because I've created a funky little race of people who I really like. Let me just minimize this. Let me minimize this. This art was done by Masked Introvert, who is a friend of mine. She is real cool. There's another VTuber, she's playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that's true. She was telling me about it before I started the stream. She's an awesome friend. She's real cool. Let me make this big enough. So, this is just a sketch, but this is a fucking amazing sketch. This is such a good fucking sketch. I'm probably gonna ask Mask if she can like color and render it when I have a bit more money. But these are Garen, which are a race of green-skinned humanoids who they're very, very tribal people. That I've kind of based them on Native Americans and Native Australians and a lot of other tribes that I've like druidic tribes that I've read about. I need to do a bit more research because I'm not entirely happy with all the research I've done. But they have tattoos that appear on their body. They appear and disappear, can grow more prominent, or can change completely. And these tattoos are symbols written in the ancient language of the Garen, which very few can read because they're taught. The language is taught by the tribe's elder, and Kalrim's really shit, which is the continent we're in, and they've kind of taking over land from the Garen. They're just showing up, being like, this land is ours because our goddess made the whole planet. We're burning your tribe to the ground, we're enslaving your people, and we're building a town here, fuck you. And it's horrible. Like, slavery is illegal in Kalrim, and it's not a good thing. And okay, another thing I want to add on, Franziska, who's a character I was talking about earlier. Let me get a picture of her up. Another thing I quickly want to add, if Franziska was crowned queen, I feel like she'd actively try to be like, why is this legal? Like, the rest of the world has banned slavery. Why are we the only country that's, like, the continent that's allowing it? I feel like she'd change that. Because it's not okay. And for some reason, Kalrim is cool with it. Because they're not the best country. Anyway, so Garen are often, like, quote-unquote hired as maids or butlers or stagehands or coach hands, etc. And this is where the story kind of gets involved. So this is a character who I have a name for, Oh, no, I'm going off topic. Apologies. I started talking about the tattoos and I got distracted. Let me go back to the tattoos. I'm sorry. I'm a mess of. I'm really excited about this, and I get mumbled up. So the tattoos are written in the ancient language of Garen, which is taught by the Elder, and I just explained why not many people know it, because a lot of the Elders die or they're separated from their tribe. Don't get to actually learn everything about their culture, which is really shit. Which is why a lot of them can't read these. And these tattoos show the possible future of the individual that they're on. So, like, a tattoo could mean, like, you know, a great warrior. It could mean, like elder. It could mean, like, this person gets married and lives happily ever after. And they disappear if that future is no longer possible. Or they start fading if that future becomes very unlikely. And new ones can appear based on choices. And this is one such Garen, who I refer to as the Necromancer, because she is a Necromancer, duh. Her tattoos on my forehead. She might have others on her body. I'm not gonna ruin the book, because I like my twist. She has no idea what this means, because her grandfather was employed by... I don't remember, I don't think we named whoever was Lord of Brine. Well, it doesn't matter, because their house is gone. So the last member of whoever the ruling house of House Brine was, fucking died. And because his butler was the one person who was generally there for him, listened to him, cared for him, wasn't interested in his wealth, and he treated his butler relatively well, considering that they were essentially slaves, which is her grandfather. He was kind of like, you know what? I don't have any kids. I don't have my wife's dead. I don't have any cousins. I don't have any nieces, nephews, etc. So I'm going to will my entire fortune, my house, and my estate to you. And then it was like, whoa, holy shit, damn. And then, like, her grandfather inherited that, and he died because he's old as shit, and he was worked to the fucking bone. And therefore, she inherited this huge mansion on top of a spire. Like, imagine Frankenstein's castle. And because A, she's a Garen, and her race is treated like shit, they're not even considered people. And B, because she was born a woman, that's double no. So she's not allowed to inherit it because she's a Garen, she's not allowed to inherit it because she's a woman, and therefore the Mayor of Brine, who I believe was a cousin of the current Lord of House Avery, basically came to Brine because he was like, no, it wasn't House Avery, it was cousin of House Steiner, I believe. It's from Shelley Hall. Basically showed up to Brine and was like, I'm of House Steiner, I'm the mayor now. And was like, your home and wealth belongs to the city of Brine, it belongs to the government. You are property, you don't deserve this. And they were like, but we're gonna fucking siege, we're gonna fucking break into your home, we're probably gonna kill you, I'm gonna take all your shit. And so the story begins with her kind of like researching all this ancient, quote-unquote, forbidden prehistoric magic, and just failing at resurrecting, because you can't just succeed at just because you try real hard. And it's the night before they're going to, like, completely take it over. And she goes to an unmarked grave in the cemetery of Brine, because she kind of doesn't want to resurrect anyone that's going to have significance. Like to prove to people that you're not a terrible person, you don't really want to resurrect the corpse of someone's loved one. So she goes to, like, a really old grave and attempts the ritual, and at first it seems nothing works, and then a skeleton comes out of the ground, and basically they're heading back to their home to try to, like, beat the mob. People of Brine kind of freak out because necromancy isn't performed in Levin. It's not something natural. It's not something you really do. They kind of freak out when they see the skeleton. This and that happens. Skeleton is named Marrow. My friend Noah named it. And the skeleton falls in love with the necromancer, but realizes that it's a fucking weak-ass skeleton that has been revived by, like, an amateur necromancer. So Marrow goes off to the Adventurers Guild in Canvas Town, disguised as, like, in armor as an adventurer, and kind of tries to work the way up the ranks while also trying to stop people hunting their loved one. And it's an interesting story, and I think it'll be cool. It'll add to the lore, and I think the duality of both trying to serve someone who's slowly becoming a villainess, whilst also keeping up the guise of a hero is very interesting, and I think it'll be cool. I'm gonna have to dip to it, but hot damn, this has been cool stream. Thanks for sharing more lore, dude. Thank you, Regan. Regan, shout yourself out, and thank you for stopping by. I haven't officially written much of the book. I think only chapter 1 is really halfway written. Like, I have a shit ton of notes. I have so much notes. Like, the whole story is there. It's just nowhere near being done. Like in a presentable form. Like the whole ending is done. Because, like, I said it's a side story to my world, but it covers probably the most significant event in my world's entire history, where basically the first half of the First Age, which is medieval, basically ends, something occurs, and then all magic is just gone. Like, forever. And it becomes more of a traditional thing. Like all the fantasy creatures are still in Cantor, but they kind of just become less common. But I don't like spoiling stuff. But yeah, Brian's location is really important to the setting. I haven't figured out when my story takes place, but probably relatively soon after the campaign. But I do like Brian. And then I'll talk about Shelley Hall again. Bingo Bango Bongo. Oh yeah, the Piss Lake. The Piss Lake. So this is the Waste Wind, which is this huge fucking lake with sulfur in it. It's based on a place in Rotorua, which is in New Zealand, where there's a sulfur lake that just smells fucking terrible. Always. It always smells terrible. And if you put your hand in it, your skin will basically melt off. It's basically acidic. And I just thought, like, Regan and I were thinking about, like, why not have a place like that? It's just cool. And we have a town called Corio, which is an in joke. I'll explain the joke. So I am Australian, and there's a place in Victoria, because I live in Victoria. I don't live in this town though. If I lived in this town, I would cry. There's an infamous town called Corio, and it is just the worst place in the world. Basically, it's the worst place in Australia, and it's a horrible place. It smells bad. The people are bogans. It's a real bad place, and Regan and I jokingly decided Australian Detroit. It is Australian Detroit. It is Australian Detroit. And we decided to put it near the fucking horrible melt lake, and it always smells bad there, and it sucks. And that's all we've written about it. Another place I really, really like in Cantor, because I'm still writing stuff, but what I've written I like. Another 2 places I really, really like in Cantor is Minch. So, I wanted to name somewhere Minch. And I asked Regan to put it wherever they wanted on the map, and Regan wanted to put it right in the Whispering Marsh. Regan, please DM me when you leave chat so I can talk about the Whispering Marsh, because I really want to talk about it, but I can't because you're a part of the campaign. But Minch is a town that's ruled by no lords. It has a mayor, and that is it. It is separate because it's in the Whispering Marsh. People sometimes stop there if they desperately need to, but usually not. The people of Minch are very withdrawn. They don't particularly like strangers. They don't like outsiders, but they won't push them away. Like, if you need somewhere to stay, they will put you in a house. They will look after you, and then will send you on your way when, like, the moment you're ready to go. Like, the moment you're able to go. But a lot of the people in Minch have these strange deformities. They've got these weird lumps on their skin that seem to kind of move, kind of pulsate. They're not exactly on the skin. It seems more like there's something under the skin that's trying to force its way out. And there's a lot of pus coming out of noses and ears and mouth. And it's quite disgusting. And if you try to ask the people of Minch what exactly it is, they just say it's simply the town, it's just the way we are, it's just a sickness going around. And that's all they'll say. And any attempt to investigate further will often be met with silence, or, at worst case for the extremely nosy, they'll ask you to leave their town, and you'll have to make your way to Canvas Town without supplies. And, yeah, Minch also has this really large well, this huge well that seems almost bottomless. And one could assume that's where the water comes from. Although, why would they need water from a well when they're situated near a large pool of water? But again, that's a mystery for a different day. And hi, Sandra, welcome. We're talking about the campaign. I was talking about the town of Minch, which is a place I really, really like. And you will all definitely visit on your way through the campaign, because you guys start at Fort Verrigan, and you're gonna go all the way from Fort Verrigan through the Whispering Marsh. You can either go this way directly to Canvas Town, or if something happens in the marsh, which it probably will, because let's be honest, it's a marsh, you might decide to stop at Minch before heading to Canvas Town just to restock rest supply. I can't talk about the Whispering Marsh because Senju is here now. I mean, I'm happy you're here. I love hanging out here, but I don't want to spoil the campaign for you. Whispering Marsh is called the Whispering Marsh for reasons. Okay, Fort Verrigan. Fort Verrigan is the border between the Lower Heartlands and brain not working. The Lower Heartlands and Kantor. It's a huge wall from here all the way here and circling Dreeg as well. Dreeg is unofficially part of Fort Verrigan because there's a huge wall here that they kind of fortify. And Fort Verrigan is basically the last line of defense from all the weird shit in Kantor, from reaching the nobles and shit. Like, because Fort Verrigan exists, all the nobles are like, fucking the weird shit in Kantor, it's not real. It's not real. And, the ruling house of Fort Verrigan is House Vrock. And House Vrock is fucking cool. The leader of House Vrock is known as the Vrock, which is a reference to Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yeah. But the Vrock is like a giant bird in D&D. So the idea is that the leader of their house has to be, like, all the qualities of, like, a giant fucking ferocious bird. So very often, the leader of House Verrigan, as one of their rituals, before they're like officially the leader is one, they have to like perform in Ironstag, in the wrestling matches in Ironstag, and they also have to survive a gauntlet in the fucking death arena, which I think is, I don't remember where is the actual gladiatorial blood sport. Do all that, and then when they come back, they are given the title, the Vrock, and not the leader. And it's like being the Lord of House of Rock. Oh, it must be very prestigious. No. You are literally on the front line. You are defending the fort against whatever the fuck comes through the gates. You are actively on the front line. You go on scouting parties through Cantor. You make contact with Shelley Hall. You sometimes, if they're huge traders, you help escort them. It's like a full-on job. Like, it's less being a noble and more being a knight. So House of Rock, it has a shit ton of respect from everyone in Cantor. And then like all the nobles from like Harris and Saskatchewan and the Starfelt Heartlands are like, oh, they have the money of nobles, but they have the stability of peasants. Even though they're fucking defending the entire goddamn kingdom from whatever the fuck happens here. And another important thing, which is one of the most important things, is the Sea of Trees. I'm going to have to zoom in a bit more, because you can't see the core focus of the Sea of Trees. Still can't really, but I will. So the Sea of Trees, it is a dense forest. Apologies, I cannot speak. A dense forest with a shit ton of fog. It is always foggy, and the fog is thicker than London fog, so it's real thick. It's thicker than fucking... I can't think of someone with a fat ass. It's thicker than Zentreya's ass. There we go. And anyone who enters the Sea of Trees often goes too far in, and they'll find that they've come out the exact way that they came in often. And the Sea of Trees is believed by many, mostly elven scholars, to hold something known as the Source Tree, which is this enormous tree, like huge, I mean massive. Like, it's so big you should be able to see it, like from the Sunderland Mountains or from outside the Sea of Trees, but you can't for some reason. It's an enormous oak tree, which according to elven mythology is the source of all magic in the world, and is the reason why Cantor has such fantastical beasts and weird shit happening, is because it's close to the Source Tree. That's what the elves believe. But no one else really believes that, because it's part of their mythology. The elven mythology is very interesting. It's very, very long, but I'll give the abridged version. So, the elves believe that humans of all species, Calamant, Yor, Vistarian, Tywin, orcs, elves, the elves believe that all of these races, except for possibly the Garen, are all visitors to Leven. That none of those races are actual natives. They believe that before Leven there was another planet in another dimension, and that something happened there that caused the world to decay and to unmake itself. And that when that was happening, the people of the world cried out for a god to come save them. And the will of the people, and their desire, and their dreams, gave birth to a god, known as the Conductor. And the Conductor took as much of the previous world as they could. As many people as they could. And shifted it to another dimension and sent them onto the planet of Levin. That's what they believe. They have a multiple different sacred texts. A lot of them are very biased and very, this definitely happened and this definitely didn't happen. But let me find what I call that. The sacred story is called The Goddess Cry, which is a fabled story. And let me find where did I put it? I gave it an official title. I sent it to my friend Percy because I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo when I spam my friends with. I sent it to my friend. Okay, yeah, the Goddess Cry according to Javier, which is the most widely accepted one amongst the Court of Wise, because Javier was an elven philosopher who wrote the Goddess Cry, well, one of the Goddess Cries, one of the interpretations. And Javier's texts are very non-biased. He will say, this definitely happened, and then this might have happened. So he'll be like, rumors said that this could be true, or rumors said this, but he'd never say this did happen, because a lot of the other authors would embellish things, romanticize parts of the story. I mean, I could read the whole Goddess Cry, but I think you'd get bored. I think people would get bored from me reading the entirety of the Goddess Cry. It's a very, very long story, and it's already a 3-hour stream. I don't want to turn this into a 12-hour stream. But yeah, the elves believe it devoutly. Elves, one of the core beliefs is that the mind can shape reality. So they believe that their god, the conductor, which they don't call it a god. There's no elvish word for god when it comes to the conductor. It's simply called the conductor. And their reasoning is that it isn't a god, it isn't this powerful being that created everything. They don't believe their god created shit at all. But they believe that the beings of the previous world created that god, and that god in exchange, well, I keep using the word god, but that's the best way to use it. Deity sounds better. That deity serves the people, it conducts their will. Kind of like how a conductor would get a piece of music from a composer and then, get people to play it for them. Like, they didn't write it, they didn't create the piece. But they're making sure that it's carried out. And they believe that there is something called a meme, where it's like, haha, funny internet image. But I mean in like the traditional sense, where something is spread either genetically, verbally, or I can't remember quite what it is. We studied that shit ton in high school, I forgot a bunch of it. But a meme is basically a phenomenon or a creature created through through belief. So elves believe if something is believed enough, it can become real. So for example, vampires. If vampire stories are told enough, elves believe that, again, they become real. Well, vampires are real in Levin, especially in Cantor. But elves believe that all this shit happened because people spread stories about them. And that's why in Evergarden, which is where the elves are from, like certain story types I just kind of banned. Like not you can't read that, but like it's like, you don't tell people about it. You don't spread it around. Like, it's a story in a book, it's not real. We make it very clear it's not real. And, we make sure we don't spread rumors around. Like spreading rumors is very taboo in elven culture, which is fine, I guess. Like, they're not like reading's bad. They're like, oh, reading's good, knowledge is good, but you know, just be aware that your words do have power if it's spread around enough. Again, that's what the elves believe. Just like, it might be real, might not be real. I'm not gonna fucking give away what is true, what isn't true. The orcs might be right. The Big Bang Theory might be canon in this world. Who knows? But yeah, that the elves are really interesting, and they believe that the source tree is there. And a lot of practitioners of certain magic, they go to pilgrimages through the Sea of Trees in hopes of seeing the source tree. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I saw the source tree, I touched it, and now I have magic. And practitioners of that way of magic, the way it works, this form of magic, is the idea that one makes not really a contract, that's not really how it works. One kind of connects with the tree, and they are lent some of its powers. If they do things, you get a set amount, which is how spell slots work into this. You get a set amount that you can do each day. You use too much too soon, and you are cut off. You are no longer allowed to have that magic. You have to go back, make the pilgrimage again, reconnect with the tree, and if it still wants you to have it, you get it. And also, overusing magic also causes you to... I haven't put it into mechanics, it's just like a flavor thing. It's not an actual mechanic, because I think punishing your players for using magic is cringe. But yeah, using too much magic as well causes you to kind of be drained, fatigued, like something sapping your energy. And it's caused a theory amongst a sect of elves. Again, a couple of them are in the Court of Wires, who they believe that the source tree saps the energy, the life force of those that it connects with for some reason. They think the tree might possibly be parasitic or symbiotic, and they're not entirely sure. Because the tree doesn't grow, and it can't die from their understanding. So they don't understand why exactly it needs all that energy for. But, yeah. I think that's... Oh no, I haven't talked about Saskatchewan. I'll talk about Saskatchewan, and then I'll probably end stream. So, Saskatchewan, which is the final region. And someone asked me a question about why it was called that, and I forgot to answer it, because I'm a silly Billy. Canada... Yeah, I'm gonna speak about it. Regan, you said you were leaving, Regan. Make up your mind. You're a sussy baka. So Saskatchewan is huge. You did lie. You're a liar. So Saskatchewan starts... It's everything basically above and to the side of the Starfell Heartlands. Let me zoom out a bit. Yeah, it's Penn Island, which I forced Regan to name Pellin Island, because Regan wanted to name it Penn Island as a joke. But yeah, this is Saskatchewan over here, and this is... I'll quickly talk about the Wick. So the Wick used to be this lighthouse that was fucking destroyed by fire, and it turned all the brick black. That's what's called the Wick, because it's like a burnt lighthouse. And it's become fortified since then. It's called the Candle. It was called the Candle. It was called the Candle originally, and then it got called the Wick. It's now fucking burnt in the shed. Exactly, and it's fucking cool. I thought that said the latrine. I thought you named a place latrine, and I was about to scream at you. I spoke about Croissant and House Maze, which are fucking awesome. Oh, I was going to talk about Saskatchewan. I was going to talk about the name. That's named after you, Serenity. Look, Serenity, it's you. It's you. That's Goodberry. Goodberry's kind of Chad. No, I think I just have to talk about the name. Okay, so this is why it's called Saskatchewan. So it's real. So the story behind the name. I used to go to a university. I'm not going to name the university, but it was a pretty cool one. And I studied a course which I really enjoyed. And I passed it, and I was real fucking good at it. And we had this funky little teacher called Rowan. And he looks like... I'm trying to give you... He looks like Rob Paulson from Animaniacs. So Rob Paulson's a voice actor. He voices Yakko in Animaniacs. He looks like an older Rob Paulson. And he was a funky little guy. He had little weird stories. His name was Robert Paulson. It wasn't. His name. I'll say his name. His name was Rowan. I'm not gonna say his last name because it'll be real easy to look him up. But his first name was Rowan. And he had a funny last name. And he had a rule for our course. Because it was like a media course. It was in film. And his rule was... We're not... I guess like the class isn't done until, I dismiss you. And... like a lot of the times he'd say you can go, but which didn't mean like the class is done. It meant like you can go as in like I've done talking, like you can go do stuff. So he had a code word that he used, a phrase that triggered a Winter Soldier effect in us. We were conditioned by this teacher. This teacher was a mastermind, a manipulator. Man to rival even the dastardly mind of Joshua Tomar himself. And I don't even have to tell you who Joshua Tomar is. He's infamous for his villainy. This man was above him. He did a social experiment on a bunch of young adults. Oh, and there were some people in their 40s as well, but yeah. Anyway, he conditioned us. Well, he had a phrase. The phrase was Saskatchewan. And whenever it was time to leave, he would say Saskatchewan and we would all go home. And it happened. Slowly it happened. We wouldn't leave until we heard that. Like, we couldn't. Like, it would be time to go. And we'd all be looking at him. Just waiting for the word. Minutes would go by. And we would know it's time to go. We can walk out. It's not class anymore. Our university course for the day is over. But we couldn't leave until we heard that word. We were all sleeper agents. And when we heard that word, we left. We went on trams, we went on buses, we went in cars, we went home. Saskatchewan, to us, meant home. And I like that. He was a real cool teacher. He was a cool dude. He was a real cool, chill dude. He felt like everyone's cool grandpa. Except also he was the funky uncle. And he told us a story about how he shot a gun in the middle of the big city. And I don't remember the context of it. I think it was during a protest, and I'm pretty sure he got arrested. He had a lot of wacky stories. He was a cool dude. But yeah, it just reminds me of those times, and those days were cool. And that's why I chose Saskatchewan. That was real funny, because eventually he learned that it was the name of a country in Canada, a place in Canada. And he was like, I'm still using it. So yeah, one day I want to go to Saskatchewan, and I want to take a photo of me in front of the sign. I want to email it to my university professor and be like, look where I am. Look how far I've come. And yeah, I think it would be nice. So yeah, that's why I called Saskatchewan, because it's a happy memory and it means home to me. God, I got a little bit teary-eyed. But yeah, I think I've covered all of Kalrim, basically. Well, all the Calumet that's set in stone. But yeah, that was real fun. I'd like to do another one of these where I cover the other locations. I cover like. Let me switch maps real quick. There we go. I want to do a stream where I talk because I've already covered all Calumet. I want to do one about Yor, one about Tywin, one about Vesti, one about Evergarden, one about Myr, which Myr should be up here somewhere. Yeah, you gotta change the shapes too, because the shape of Yor and Calumet and Tywin had changed a bunch. One time Regan was doing Evergarden. Regan sent me a map, and like Tywin was beautiful, Calumet was beautiful, Yor was beautiful, Vesti was beautiful, and then I looked up at Evergarden. Do you know what I say? Can you guess what I saw? At the fabled city of the elves, the famous pacifists, law keepers, scholars, philosophers, and arcane researchers, I saw fucking Among Us. Regan fucking had an Among Us there, and it took me ages to notice. I was like, beautiful, 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 what the fuck? And I got furious. I went insane that there was Among Us there. But yeah, I really want to... next stream, I'll leave it up to a vote. It'll either be Tywin, Yor, Vesti, or Evergarden. But be warned, if I do a stream that's completely about Evergarden, I'm gonna subject you to the fucking goddess cry. I'm gonna read the whole fucking story out, and you're all gonna be fucking bored. I mean, I think it's an interesting story. I need to make it more presentable, because right now it's just dot points, which might be best to read it as dot points, rather than reading it. I'll write it how Javier would have written it, and I think that would be good. Javier's a cool dude. He was a based elf. Fucking kicked down the door of the Council of Wires and was like, I've written my version of the Goddess Cry. And people are like, this is fucking shit. You're making out people to be some assholes. And it's like, well, they were assholes. And it's like, well, you're not allowed in the Council of Wires. And it was like, I suck my dick, I'm gonna start my own faction. And then he did. And then he fucking just disappeared into the forest one day. That no one's fucking seen him since. What a Chad. Fucking love Javier. But anyway, yeah, I'll do a vote on Twitter. Al's balls pointed. I don't know. It's not some. That's not something I've ever considered. I need to create a whole fucking... I have to decide what my species genitalia looks like, don't I? Can you imagine Tolkien sitting at a table, hunched over, and fucking 15-year-old Christopher comes up to him, and it's like, Dad, do you remember? Because he's Irish now in my world. In my headcanon, everyone's Irish. Father, do you remember that little story you used to tell me when I was a wee lad about the hobbits and the dwarves and the misty mountains? Why, yes, Christopher, I do indeed remember that. I had a question about the dwarves. Do they have hairy cocks? I'm sorry, Christopher, what was that? The dwarves. They got real hairy cocks, do they? And then Tolkien just hushes Christopher out of his fucking study. He locks the door and he spends weeks carefully calculating the genitalia of each race of Middle Earth. And muttering to himself, "Darn the boy." It happened. That's real. It happened. It happened. It happened because it's funny and I said it happened. Damn the boy. It is a legendary quote and it's real. And that's what I love about it. I love that it's a real quote. I didn't even make that shit up. It's just a real quote. Oh, hello. What are you doing here? There we go. Everything's back to normal. But yeah, I put a vote up on Twitter so people can decide. Yeah, I gotta sleep too as well because it's 12 a.m. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. This was actually real fun. I probably skipped over a bunch of details, but I had a lot of fun. Probably one of the most fun streams I've ever had. But right now I'm going to figure out which of my friends are streaming, and I'm going to raid them, and I'm going to post on Twitter. Who's streaming right now? Who's streaming right now? Iron Mouse is streaming. We're not going to raid Iron Mouse because I am baby. Lumi is streaming. I've raided Lumi before. It was really embarrassing because she had just started stream and no one was there yet, and she said thank you to me, and I felt really bad because she's a big VTuber and I got scared. So I'm not gonna raid Lumi again because I was stupid. I was a small little baby streamer and I was like, oh, I like Lumi. Well, I'll raid Lumi because I want to watch Lumi. I didn't think she would say anything, and she did, and I felt happy, but I also felt cringe. I got a friend playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Someone's playing Star Wars The Old Republic. Shiro is playing Digimon World Championship. And Kalatan is playing Dead Cells. I think we'll raid Kalatan. Because... well, I think it's a funky little idea. And I am the streamer. I get to decide who I raid. I'm a Chad. So anyway, thank you everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next stream, which might be Pokemon, might be more lore streams, might be something completely different. Who knows? But yeah, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And bye 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 bye. See ya.